So often the AFL's two youngest clubs are compared side by side, GWS in Sydney and Gold Coast, on the subject of who has established themselves in this competition. Which of the AFL's most recent expansion sides has achieved more, and not just in terms of on-field success. But today, it's not about the rear-view mirror, it's very much about where they're going. And somehow, now both of these sides are making an unlikely tilt towards September action. Today, they come to Canberra, a venue the Giants have not tasted victory in their past 9 starts, and they meet a Gold Coast Suns team that, despite being fresh off a coach sacking, rebounded with a win last week, and perhaps feel as though they have nothing to lose on the run home, emerging as a dangerous opponent, if you like, for teams both inside and outside the 8 as we hit the final month of this home and away season. Welcome to Grandstand AFL. Welcome to Manuka Oval in Canberra, our nation's capital, where conditions are beautiful and slightly cool, but very sunny for footy here. My name is Brett Sprigg, and to call the action alongside me on Grandstand AFL is Declan Byrne. Hello, Deck.
G'day, Spriggy. How you going?
Going pretty well.
It's exciting.
It's a great place to see the footy. 3 times a year the Giants bring games here. Crowd are still filing in. Not a bad vibe around the place, but that hoodoo does sort of conjure a few bad memories, I'm sure, for this current Giants playing group.
Yeah, a couple of streaks. So 9 games in a row they've lost at Manuka, but they're on a winning streak of 5 games. So one of them will come to an end. And interestingly, at the start of the round, the Giants were 9th. After Friday night, due to that result, due to the Bulldogs smashing Essendon, they went up to 8. So they didn't kick a footy and they made it inside the 8. They're now 10th. They can go to 6. So there's snakes and ladders all over the place.
Absolutely. Team news here. No late changes. Firstly, for the Giants, Jesse Hogan was withdrawn late in the week with a quad. Jacob Ware has been admitted. In comes Nick Haynes back from suspension, and Finn Callahan returns from a hip complaint. Josh Fay, the local lad, is the sub, as he was last week. For the Suns, Braden Fiorini, last week's sub, makes way, and Jai Farah comes into the squad as their 23rd man this week. Our experts are former Swan and Blue, Jason Saddington. Hello, Saddo.
G'day, Spriggy. How are we, gents? I hope you mentioned that it's a bit cool here in Canberra. This is actually a warm day, Spriggy. Middle of winter. It's 14 degrees. This is actually a bit of a heat wave.
I suppose it is. Yeah, I suppose it is quite. We're obviously inside the box. It doesn't. I'm not out there in the elements, but it felt cold this morning. We arrived a couple of hours ago. It's probably one of the better Canberra days as far as temperature is concerned. And alongside you, former Bomber and the man who this time last year was coaching the Giants, Mark McVeigh. Hello, Spike.
G'day, boys. How are you? Good to be here. It is a sunny day, and I've been here a couple of times, Sato, when it's snowed, and it's very difficult. And the day before, Alistair Clarkson, the Revies team up, who eventually beat the Giants, took his top off and ran a lap of the oval. So very different conditions this time around.
I'll talk about how these sides always seem to have to justify their existence in the eyes of most of the competition, particularly in footy heartland Victoria. The only true currency is finals. It's nothing new for the Giants. They've been there before, and while it seems like they're in much better shape than the Suns, the fact is Gold Coast are only a win and percentage outside the 8. They've got some winnable games on the run home. They're basically at full strength and playing with a sense of freedom, if you like, having parted ways with Stuart Dew only last week. So that's the thing today, is can the Suns keep some momentum up off the back of that important situation, having got rid of a coach, and cause some nuisance value, in fact, or get there themselves in September.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're looking forward today to see with the Suns. From a coach sacking, most teams generally come out the next week and often win. Or put up a really strong performance, and the Suns did that against probably a disappointing St Kilda, but they did a great job, and they owned that game and they won. So whether they can back it up second week in, will the momentum continue? Is there still this excited new lease of life for them? Is the carrot of finals is still a possibility? Is it enough for this group, the Suns, to keep driving away? What are we going to get today? We'll find out, won't we?
I want to ask you, though, Spike, about the inner sanctum for the Giants. They've lost their past 9 games here. Why is this venue so hard to win at for this Giants team?
Well, no one ever talks about it. Prior to the 9 games, they actually had a beautiful winning streak here, so they actually had it down pat. Now, they came here a couple of times in tough conditions. You could argue, the opposition are there playing in as well, and weren't able to get over the line. Last year, the Giants lost to Fremantle in a really close one here, I think it was a couple of goals. So I think they really want to make it a place where they can win again. They value it. They have a good supporter base here. And, apart from a couple of times that we've named where it was a bit wet and windy and the snow, the weather is usually pretty good here at this time of year, so they really embrace it. They'll want to turn it into a fortress yet again. I heard Adam Kingsley during the week speak about that quite heavily. So I don't think there's anything in it in regards to, they can't win here. It's not about that. I think sometimes that becomes, you think about Fagan when he talks about winning at the MCG. They don't see it as a problem. They've been in most games there, but just haven't been able to do it. So I'd like to think today, though, I think the Giants can turn it around today. I think they're in a position today where they can really dominate the game. It's about the keys for as much as me. Ben King's been really struggling. He needs to get going. We need to see Jake Riccardi from the Giants take up that spot that's been left by Hogan. It's a big day for him, but I really think the Giants are in a really strong position to have a commanding win today.
I couldn't agree more, Spike. And, I think what we've seen off the Giants over the past 5 to 6 weeks is a different team to perhaps what we've seen earlier in the year. They're buoying confidence. They're playing great footy. Even last week against Adelaide, they probably didn't play their best first 3 quarters, but they hung in the game and then steamrolled them late in the contest. So they're chock full of confidence, and I think they do come here today probably expecting to continue on that marching way and push forward. Hogan is a massive out. You're right, Riccardi is the one that you said needs to step up, and I think the other one, it's a great opportunity now for Cadman as well as the other key forward to perhaps grab an opportunity. He's played quite a few games this year. He probably hasn't had an outstanding game just yet, but today perhaps is that opportunity with Hogan.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And if you look at the Gold Coast Suns last week, their metres gained from stoppage was through the roof. So that says to me, Kingy's gone out there and said, listen, boys, just play with a bit of freedom. We're just going to let you off the leash a little bit. Noah Anderson was massive for him last week. He's got a big day ahead of him. If you think about stoppage today, the Giants haven't been particularly well at clearance. They've really struggled. When the ball gets to the outside, they look really good in the live play. We know they want to move the ball quick through their back half. They want to handball, chain and get in their forward line as quick as possible. For the Gold Coast Suns today, they need to really dominate clearance, but they need to break that chain. And that chain, if they get the opportunity, pressure in the face, cut off some handballs, make the Giants kick a high ball in and then go to work from there.
And that's where the matchups become critical, don't they? Witts v Briggs. Briggs has been fantastic for the Giants, but Jared Witts, really should get the ascendancy, much more experienced player, give him that clearance work. But even King, you mentioned up forward, if Sam Taylor's the matchup, he's back in outstanding form. That's another big matchup for the day.
Toss one by Jared Witts, and the Suns will kick to the pool end, northern end of Monica Oval to start. Let's get a feel for things downstairs, and whether it's a hot or cold or indifferent Canberra day temperature-wise, Adam Shirley is there for us. Boundary side. G'day, Adam.
Spriggy, mint playing conditions, I'd say. The deck looks fantastic as usual, and barely a breath of wind. Usually a westerly pushes up into a pocket here this time of day. Nothing of it. Also a balmy 14 degrees in the sun. So no excuses for high-quality footy today. There should be some really good, clean possession early on.
Still, of course, no Tom Green, the local lad. They've still got the Tom Green fan club marquee out there on the eastern side of the ground. Of course, they've not won in his time at the club, so he's yet to taste a victory here, the home lad. But Josh Fay, the local lad, sub today. It's the Giants and the Suns on Grandstand AFL getting us underway for the very first time on ABC Sport. Here's Declan Byrne.
Yeah, so much to play for this afternoon here in Canberra as the umpire bounces the ball. Witts and Briggs. Briggs the tuck down to Kelly. Rowell immediately wraps him up. Umpire blows his whistle and we'll have a ball up just to the Suns attacking end, still in the centre square. Tap down. Giants will get the clearance through Ward. Throws it on the boot. It'll reach inside 50, but Collins in best position marks for the Suns and goes quickly down the middle. Atkins through the centre corridor, inside 50, King on the lead, Buckley in his back, umpire says play on. Ainsworth picks it up, his hands swift to Humphrey, to Rowell, to Swallow, they kick inside 50, front position, good grab from Harry Himmelberg.
Himmelberg in the right back pocket, so intercepts early on here for the Giants, don't score in the first 60 seconds at Monica Oval. The Giants had to turn around that 0-9 in their past 9 starts in the capital. Beyond defensive 50, Collins comes up, intercepts here this time forward of halfway for the Gold Coast Suns. Pops them back inside forward 50, deep to the left forward pocket, going up there King. Spoil comes away from Taylor. Perryman in his 100th game, hand pass is loose out over the boundary line. Deliberate is the call. So all over that, quickly was the umpire. Deliberate off the hand pass from Perryman. It's a Giants ball deep, the Suns ball deep in the left forward pocket with Lukosius.
That's an early doors win, Sato, for them, forcing Harry Himmelberg long down the line. They don't want to do that. They want to go through corridor. They want to open up the field, force them long down the line. Great turnover, shot on goal.
Kicked 4 goals. Kicked the first against the Saints last week as well. This is off the side of the boot from Lukosius. It'll drop in the hot spot there. Witts missed it. Hand pass away from Buckley. Perryman. Now they'll rebound the football through Ash, whose kick goes out of bounds on the full. The Suns get it back, this time deep in the right forward pocket in front of the scoreboard, which shows no score to the Giants and the Suns through the opening couple of minutes.
King took a long time to get up from that marking contest as well. He's back on his feet, but still on his haunches.
Like to see the Gold Coast work the arc here. This is a tough kick from this side of the ground in Canberra. Got some players on his inside that he could utilise, but he's going to back himself.
So Will Powell, the man with the footy in his hand, hard up against the boundary line. He starts his run up from outside the field of play. The tightest of angles. He kicks for goal and pushes it on the near side. So the first score of the day, the Suns are behind to Will Powell. On kick-out duty, Whitfield finds Himmelberg, who plays on down this members' wing. Goes long, it's tight, it's going to be out on the full. And we might have found a free kick anyway. I think Riccardi was holding Collins. So Collins with his third touch early. He goes inside 50 for the Suns. Casbolt was there, ball hits the deck. Whitfield amongst it, hands out to Cornelio. Cheeky round the corner kick, finds Ward on his defensive 50.
So from right half back, can the Giants find a way forward? Suns with the first score of the game are behind. Short kick from Ward to Cumming. As that Cumming just controls things, slows it down at the right half back flank. Commentary side they come. Players converge on the wing. Witts up there. Swatted away though by Briggs. Out the drop, Kelly. Links up the hands to Lloyd. Kept it alive, but he wrapped up down there by Andrew. Still alive here for Riccardi. Goes inside 50 now for the Giants. Toby Green's down there in the 2-on-2. Cadman can't keep it alive. Will throw it back in deep in the right forward pocket. 40 around from that. Right behind post at the Cathedral end. The Giants attacking 50. Adam Shirley on the boundary.
Interesting, Adam Kingsley, head coach of the Giants, on the boundary line from the get-go, and he is barking instructions from the first few contests. He's clearly involved at the start.
All thrown in, Briggs down to Daniel. He taps it across to Kelly. Comes to Green, might have been taken high. Ball spills free to Rowell. Kicks it out of danger. Humphrey in the middle can't mark. Ball hits the deck. Ainsworth there. Strong tackle on him. Umpire circles and says he'll ball it up in the middle of Manuka.
I love what Steve King's done with Ben Longsato. He's thrown the challenge of Toby Green to the young fella. He's a hard, tough player. He's going to be in for a long day. His engine's got to sustain, though. That's going to be his test.
Witts and Briggs go at it. Rowell gets a half clearance, but only as far as Ash, who goes short to Cumming. Marks on the logo on centre wing. Cumming has a man to his right. It's the 100-gamer Perryman. Ball misses him, hits the turf. Perryman good enough to collect it. Gets around Humphrey easily and sends a high one to the edge of the 50. Leading is Green. Big spoil across Holman. No free kick. Umpire plays play on, and Anderson gets the clearance.
Goes toward the outer side. Strong up Olakosius on the outer wing. They surge forward here, the Gold Coast Suns. Up inside 50. Back there with the flight. Strong grab it is from Ainsworth. Control the ball to his chest. 45 out. He'll have a set shot from there. And the first real opportunity here for the Gold Coast Suns.
Disappointing contest. Two Giants players on the wing. Himmelberg and Haynes both just pulled out from a spoil. Let Lukosius take an easy mark. They really should have turned the ball over there through the middle of the ground.
5.5 gone in the first quarter here at Manuka Oval. And Ben Ainsworth, one of 8 players to have 20 touches or more last week in that win over the Saints. For the first major of the day. Kicks from 45, on its way, and he makes no mistake. Gold Coast with the first 7 points of the game. They're 1-1-7. The Giants yet to score. 6 gone first term here on Grandstand AFL with Mark McVeigh and Jason Saddington.
I think the Gold Coast has shown their hand really early with what they're trying to do, which is fantastic. They want to force the Giants long down the line, get their method right, and when they win it back, go really quick through the corridor. And in that moment just then, they were able to win that ball back. They had good runners off half-back, painted the fence on the open side of the field, and as you called, Sato, the contest between Haynes and Himmelberg got a little bit in between, and they went inside 50 really quickly. Their forward started high, exposed them out the back. I like the way they've started.
Yeah, defensively, they've really filled up the corridor well, haven't they? Giants can't move it off the line, having to kick long down the line, like you mentioned.
So we're back in the middle of Manuka. First goal of the day to the Suns. Witts and Briggs there. Witts, his 5th year as captain in the... Meanwhile, Ward and Miller are going at it. Took Miller hits the deck. Umpire bounces the ball. Miller taps it down. Good shark from Kelly, who hands it to Ward, but he's tackled beautifully by Flanders.
Great tackle.
Yep. Umpire pays the free kick. So the Suns will get it inside 50 here through Flanders. Goes long to the pocket and front spot, Sam Taylor. 16 intercept possessions last week and his first of the day here for the Giants.
The All-Australian centre-half back from last year. Short kick to find Haynes, back in the side this week. Excess defensive 50, almost overcooks the kick to Cornelio, but his fellow West Aussie and David Swallow controls it at left half back.
You know, Nick Haynes is lined up on the wing, so I'd like to think that they'll try and get that wing slide happening because he is a centre half back or a half back flanker All-Australian.
Leo's kick. Collins, good use of the body on Riccardi, has paid the mark on the eastern wing of Monica Oval. So the Suns 1-1-7. The Giants yet to score. 8 gone first term. Collins gets the hand pass away. Running by, they go forward again inside 50, but Taylor chops off. Intercept mark at left half back for the Giants.
Handballs quickly to Cornelio, who goes down the wing. And a good lead from Riccardi up. Marks on the logo, looks around to get rid of it straight away. No one there for him. So just sits and waits on that eastern wing. Unloads down the line. 1-on-1. Good position and good mark from Angwin over the back of Will Powell. They're sitting 60 out, the Giants. Inboard Angwin goes. Risky kick to Cornelio, who spills it. Gives it back to Angwin. His hands are good to Haynes. Haynes kicks it towards goal, round his body, touched on the line. So behind for the Giants, they're on the board. 1-1-7 the Suns and 1 behind the Giants.
Oh, Ben Long just got there.
Rare shot on goal from Nick Haynes too.
Long to kick out here for the Suns. Drives it long beyond defensive 50. King a running start. In strong spoil coming from Taylor. It goes out of bounds for a throw-in. Rare, by the way, that both rucks are Sydney lads. So Kieran Briggs and Jared Witts, both New South Wales products.
Absolutely, yep. Kieran Briggs from the Giants Academy from Western Sydney at Pennant Hills, and Big Witsy, St Ives boy.
Now they go at it again here. 6 points the difference. Gold Coast way. Daniels tracks it toward the boundary line, runs out of room here, will throw it back in between wing and half forward.
A couple of key backs have been massive both ends. I mean, Sam Taylor, a couple of strong contested marks, some huge spoils. But even Collins, I think, has been fantastic on Riccardi. He's only had the one mark. He's intercepted a few times himself. Very good start from Collins.
Briggs makes his way to front spot. Cornelio with the collect. Handballs to Kelly. They get it going in the middle. Handball back to Haynes, then to Perryman. Perryman goes long. Kick inside 50. It's a 3-on-3. No mark. Ball hits the deck. First to pick it up is Long, who's tackled. He tries to shake the tackle, and the umpire pace holding the ball. Wow, hot on it. And Long, who might have had free space for a second before he was tackled, must have had an ability to get rid of it. So Brent Daniels rewarded with a free kick. And he'll kick for goal 35 metres out on a slight angle.
He probably just tried to work his way through the tackle too much, Long. If he had have played dead and just absorbed it, might have just been a ball up from the outset.
Second game back for Daniels and gets on the board. The Giants with their first. 1-1-7. The Suns 1-1-7 as well. Scores locked. Early stages at Monaco.
So is it too early to think with Sam Taylor? It looks a dominant force right now with his intercept marking. He just had a big spoil. Ben King hasn't been in great form. It's almost, with the coaches we talking about, do we actually sacrifice Ben a little bit and sit him wide of the contest? Take Sam wide of the contest and let the other forwards go to work. Now, it's probably a little early, but I reckon they'll be discussing going, we've got to keep this kid away from any high ball at all, and how can we do it? And Ben King isn't in great form. He hasn't been kicking a lot of goals, and you'd argue and say, well, geez, we've got to get him into form. But right now, it looks really dangerous.
Interesting tactics, early spike, I like it. And it makes absolute sense. Try and isolate then some players that you think might get an advantage against their opponent.
1-1-7 apiece. Restart back in the middle. Giants with the clearance through Cornelio. High ball towards 50. Powell in the contest down there with Angwin. It misses both of them. Again toward the boundary line. 65 around from the Giants attacking goal. Will throw it back in.
I'm just watching Ben King. He's playing in front. I'd like to see him just own Sam Taylor's back so he can work him, at least compete and bring the ball to ground.
All right, sunshine here at Monaco Oval. It's a glorious winter's day. Back in it comes. And at the back, Briggs is it down. Following up, though, is Hollins for the Suns. Umpire spotted the free kick. It will go the way of Tweak Miller, who was dealt with at right half back here for the Gold Coast Suns. 1-1-7 apiece, 12 gone first term.
Miller up the wing. And a good mark from Casbolt, who left the ruck contest and got some space ahead of his opponent. Casbolt on the eastern wing. Wants to chip it inside. That's not a ruckman's kick. That hits up Bedford, so the Giants can counter. Bedford finds Riccardi. He's got Green on the lead. Strong mark in the pocket for the Giants captain. Do we like that kick?
No.
Levi Casbolt.
Not from Levi.
No, kicking's not your strong suit. Probably don't try and hit the hard kick, Spike.
Yeah, it's one of those ones you get hurt on the turnover as quick as you possibly can.
So Toby Green will kick from almost 45 metres on a very sharp angle. So he's going to kick across the body. He's lined up perpendicular to the goals. Can he get the distance with the round the body? He plays on, kicks for goal. Looks to go across the face, and a minor score to the Giants. 1-2-8. Plays 1-1-7. A 1-point lead to the Giants.
Atkins to kick out here for the Suns. Kicked a couple of goals last week. 32 touches against the Saints. Buys some space in the right back pocket, just thumps it clear. Up in front, Casbolt takes a towering grab on the wing. Called to play on now. Hand pass off to his captain, Tuke Miller. Works it up the line on the outer side now. Towards that one-on-one. Strong grab out there. It was nice work from Callum Brown. And he takes the mark at left half back here for the Giants. He'll swing it across inside 50 to Ward. Ward goes back, in fact, to Iden. It was who took that mark a short time ago. Short kick now to Himmelberg. Himmelberg settles things down as they switch toward the members' side. Taylor at right half back just behind the wing. It's the Gold Coast Suns, or in fact the Giants, who lead 1-2-8 to 1-1-7. 14 gone in the first term grandstand AFL.
So Sam Taylor on the wing. Goes long. Collins is there again, free. Ballard got rid of Cadman, and the umpire said he did it illegally. So a free kick to Aaron Cadman, his first touch of the afternoon. The youngster, 6 goals from his 10 games. I'm sure hoping for a bigger return today with Hogan out. Cadman goes long. Sweeping across was Brown, but once again, he is doing it all.
By himself in defence. He's been released by the Gold Coast winger. So his Gold Coast winger is picking up Collins direct.
Risky kick inboard. Atkins makes it look all right. Handball's wide to Flanders, and Flanders chips a kick to Lukosius.
Lukosius from right half back. Works it on by a foot now. He overcooks the kick here. He was looking out there for the target of Ainsworth, but it's marked by Himmelberg on the outer side. Works it forward of halfway again. And this time it's with Connor Iden. Called to play on. Drives it long inside 50 for Greater Western Sydney. Toby Green's outnumbered down there. Second bite, Sam Collins again. Intercepts deep in the right back pocket.
Well, it's because the way the Gold Coast is setting up defensively, they're slowing the Giants up. Spike, you mentioned how the wingers slipping back to allow Collins get free. That's how he's able to intercept.
Wobbly kick from Collins. Works it okay here for Holman. Called to play on now. Breaks his way through a pack. Draws the player. Hand pass off. Holland's involved. Sweeps it further afield now. Closing in here from 45. Ainsworth tumbles it toward the unguarded goal square. It goes across the face and through for a minor score. So quick effort coast to coast from the Gold Coast. Scores are back level. 1-2-8 apiece. 15 and a half gone first term here on Grandstand AFL.
He probably could have just
had a bit more
straightened
time,
the balance up. He rushed himself, put himself in an awkward position to sort of snap on his left. He probably could have balanced up, taken some ground and had a set shot on the run.
Whitfield in the goal square. Plays on for the Giants. Down this eastern wing where we've had so much play already. Cadman in good position, but a spoil from behind. McPherson's there. Angwin tackles him. Ball spills free and goes over the boundary line.
Adam Kingsley's made the move to get Riccardi higher, which makes Collins have to pick up Toby Green to keep him deeper. So I like that move. Smart. Fixes the problem straight away.
Casbolt doing the ruck work against Brown. And Brown for the Giants gets the tap, but it goes to the Suns. Atkins inside 50 to the pocket. No mark. Ball hits the deck. Taylor, firm tackle. Buckley follows it up. Ball spills free. Humphrey has it for the Suns. He's tackled. Umpire. Pace holding the ball. Good play there from the 100-gamer Perryman.
Waste no time. Short kick to Iden across the face of defensive goal. Has some room to run now. Connor Iden goes beyond defensive 50. Out to the wing. Riccardi was beaten through the air. He's kept his feet. McAndrew floats across to intercept on the wing here for the Gold Coast Suns. In their blue away strip today, the Suns. High inside 50 is Andrew's kick. Taylor had a clunk at that. Iden out the back here. Shares it with Cumming. Turns away from Hollins. And now wobbles a kick here beyond defensive 50, or not quite in fact. Picked up again by Mac Andrew for the Gold Coast Suns. He's brought to ground. They pile in from all angles, and the umpire says, give it to me. 45 out from the Giants, from the Suns attacking goal at the pool end, and it's 1-2-8 apiece, 17 gone first term.
So just inside the attacking 50 for the Suns. Brown, another tap, but it goes to Flanders. Gets the clearance, heads to the pocket, spoil from behind from Iden, and the spoil goes almost outside 50. McPherson's there for the Suns. Angwin, strong tackle again, so he's putting good pressure on in that wing half-forward position. And it's camped still in the Suns' attacking end. Edge of the 50, umpire throws it up. Witts is down there. Flanders, another clearance. Has a flying shot on goal for his right foot. Couple of players being held. Umpire pays it towards the Giants, so against Casbolt. And it goes to Buckley.
Buckley's short chip kick to Whitfield in the right back pocket. Works it around the corner here for Perryman. And busy early on in his 100th game. 7th disposal coming up here. Thumps it up the line now. Out to a 2-on-2. Mac Andrew comes in. Takes a towering grab again. And the Suns will go forward of halfway. Mac Andrew called to play on. Puts it back inside 50, out there with 2-on-2. King in the contest down there, beaten though, up in front. Nice work it was by Taylor. Hand pass comes forward from Perryman. Rowell goes in hard, brought to ground by Haynes. Umpire hovering, he'll say, give it to me. Ball up, 65 from the Gold Coast Suns attacking goal. Pool end, scores a level, 1-2-8 apiece, 19 gone.
Gold Coast Suns are really keen Saturday to get that extra man in behind their defence. Any way they can get it, they'll take it.
Briggs clearance, but only as far as Ellis, who gives it back to Atkins. 80 out from goal on his left. Kicks it to space. Ben King over the top, nearly marks in front of Taylor. Umpire says he infringed. So Sam Taylor doing well. Collins at the other end. The stoppers getting a fair bit of the footy and stopping play at the moment. Sam Taylor will take his free kick. About 40 out from his own goal. Big up and under. Witts at the fall, the ball, so is Ballard, who spills the mark. Lloyd there for the Giants. Has one arm held. Umpire says, holding the ball. Brilliant tackle from Will Powell on the wing.
Took on the tackler, did Lloyd, so that was always his risk. Powell from the logo commentary side. It's a sharp kick, a little too sharp in a way for Witts, who was sort of reaching for it and had some pace on it as well. He fumbles it out of bounds for a throw-in.
So, Spike, with obviously the Giants been coming long down the line a fair bit and they're not winning the ball, outmarked, Mac Andrews slid off Lloyd a couple of times. Is this the missing the Jesse Hogan piece, the key forward that can actually make a bit more of a contest, bring the ball to ground? 1
goal, 2 apiece, approaching time on here in the first term. Callaghan dispossessed. It's back here for the Suns, and Flanders bobbles around here deep in that flank, but it's out of bounds for a throw-in.
It's a great question. I think you're exactly right. Jake Riccardi needs to be better in those situations. He needs to make Mac Andrews or Collins accountable for those high balls, but they are missing Jesse there. But on the flip side of that, Gold Coast forcing the Giants long down the line, exactly what they're after.
Umpire heaves it back in. The one down by Witts. No entry though, as Rowell's kick was smothered by Haynes. Worked away by Briggs on the follow-up now, and he goes as far as Atkins. He was wrapped up by Bedford. Hand pass away here for Powell. Dribbles a kick inside 50 at the bootlaces of King. Worked away by Holman. Here comes Ace Hoyer through a gap, throws it on the boot and snaps a goal off his left for the Gold Coast Suns' second goal. And they go back ahead through Huago Oya. 2-2-14 the Gold Coast. Greater Western Sydney a 1-2-8. 21 gone first term here on Grandstand AFL via ABC Sport.
Well, when that ball went back inside 50 for the Suns again, Spike, I thought, here's another horrible entry. They've messed this one up again. It hasn't been their strong suit going forward. But, a little bit of class from Ace, obviously speedy, and I guess that's what you need when the entries aren't great and the ball's bobbling about. Your speedy small forwards like Ace to just find a way to get in there, take the nice little handball receive crumb and put the burners down, and a lovely little finish. He's an exciting young player, the boy from PNG.
Yeah, he actually came from the wing, Sado, and in that scenario standing. I mean, his pace is electric. That's what they need. I love the way they're living in their front half. They're going to have to lower their eyes.
Yep.
They can't bomb it to Sam Taylor. They have to try and hit those little hit-ups.
Back in the middle, Briggs spills the footy, cleaning up for him. Callaghan back in after a week off with a hip complaint, goes forward to the wing to Lloyd. Mac Andrew harassing him. Ball comes free. Andrew collects it. Lloyd returns the favour, drives him into the turf. And the umpire will ball it up on the forward flank for the Giants, between wing and flank.
A bit of spice in that tackle from Lloyd. I think he's had enough of you winning the ball off me, Mac.
Briggs, beautiful tap down to Daniels, kick inside, but Will Powell, great intercept mark for the Suns.
Took the ball on his chest. Needs options here for the departure from 50. Called to play on now. Back from whence it came, eastern side. Going up in the contest, Taylor. Lash of bodies, King comes to ground. Ward gathers a loose football here, shares it with Whitfield by hand. On the half volley for Callaghan, bursting by again here. Here's a bit of run from Lockie Ash. Works a hand pass off to Daniels at half forward. Off to Kelly, who runs by and kicks a little chip into Lloyd, who marks. 35 out, slightly left of centre here for Daniel Lloyd. And a chance for the guy for the Giants second.
Probably the first time we'll be able to get some chain through the middle.
He's going short, by the way, Lloyd. It's a fine coming. Sorry, Sado.
No, just Sam Taylor huge again in the contest, against King. To be part of that turnover, and the Giants are able to get some chain handball and get some run through the middle of the ground. Probably the first time we've seen that so far.
Well, that's exactly what they want. They want to burst off turnover, and you've seen that. So the Gold Coast Suns have got to resist to go long. They have to just channel up the boundary, hit the corridor, and be really smart with their ball use.
How's that coming? The defender, only 2 goals in his career so far in his 67th game. This to draw things level. He doesn't let them down. And the Giants do draw things back square. 2-2, 14 apiece with the Gold Coast Suns. 23 gone first term grandstand AFL.
It could have been a hard-in-your-mouth moment when Lloyd passed that off to cover. Daniel Lloyd's a beautiful kick on goal. You'd almost say go back and kick it yourself. Said he's given it to the halfback and coming to go back and slot his third in his career. But, just that ball use again. Spike, able to get that turnover and get some of that run. Kelly was involved. I think even Lockie Ash, some of his run off halfback got involved in that little chain too.
As we approach quarter time, they'll probably tick off, yes, we've forced them long down the line. We've been able to win the ball back and go inside 50, but our ball use needs to improve from a Gold Coast Suns point of view. Just needs to improve, because anything that goes long, Sam Taylor will read it as quick as anyone. He's sharp in the mind, he plays in front of his man, and will always get first hands to it.
Back in the middle of Monica, ball's slammed into the turf. Witts is tapped. Swallow eventually gets the clearance. Circles around, goes long inside 50. Lukosha spills the mark, but he's first there, although Buckley rounds him. He loses the ball. Umpire says play on, so Cumming picks it up. Handballs to Callaghan. He goes up the line. Riccardi overruns it. Collins is there. Leading possession winner at the moment for the Suns. McAndrew picks up the ball, hits the deck, and the umpire will ball it up on the far wing.
25 gone, scores level, 2-2, 14 apiece here at Monica Oval. Umpire waiting for his rucks. Coming for the stoppage. Again, it's Briggs and Witts. Put down by Briggs, who was wrapped up, dispossessed, but the umpire says play on. Cumming knocks it clear here for Kelly on his preferred left side. Drives it long inside, forward 50. Up in the back there, Long tried to reach and pull it down. Powell brought down by Toby Green deep in the pocket. The umpire says holding the ball. They're held on that, aren't they?
They are on that today.
So another tackle rewarded, this time Toby Green deep in the left forward pocket, no more than 20, make it 15 metres out.
They're hot on it, but Kieran Briggs completely dropped that ball in the outer wing. Didn't even get his foot to it.
So Toby Green on a slight angle in the left forward pocket. I think it was a late withdrawal last time the Giants played here with that ankle concern, despite the fact there were all kinds of kids with their Toby Green shirts as part of the pre-match festivities. The Giants captain, 3 goals against the Crows last week on the approach and drives it home. And the Giants have their third and they regain the lead. 3-2-20 plays the Gold Coast Suns 2-2-14. 26 gone first term here on Grandstand AFL. Your experts are Jason Saddington and Mark McVeigh.
That's 2 goals from tackles deep inside 50, which is, they're like gold. You don't get them very often. So to get 2 in the first quarter is great pressure from the Giants.
Yep, and without, the key marking player of a Hogan in there today, we've mentioned, some of those small forwards will become important, and the pressure at the drop of the ball, you don't expect a Riccardi or a Cadman to take a heap of contested marks, but if they can bring it to ground, it does become important that players like Daniels and Lloyd, Bedford do get involved, and on that occasion, obviously, Toby Green putting the tackle pressure on.
So Toby Green, one of 6 Giants to have first played the Suns here at Monica back in 2015, on the board today. Witts taps it down. Ward collects, but Took Miller was almost already attached to him, so he'll have a ball up just next to the centre circle. Kelly with the clearance off the ruck. It's going to hit the deck. Collins runs straight through. He's having a huge game. He goes wide, misses his target, goes over the top of Hollins, but Haynes missed it as well, although Haynes is first to get there. Sends a handball forward to Green, tries to palm off Andrew, can't get rid of him, so throws it on the left boot. Eventually it comes to Daniels, but his handball is errant. Goes to Mac Andrew for the Suns. Handballs to Powell, gets around one. It's messy here for the Suns, but Hollins makes it look a bit better than it was. Good. Flanders through the middle and then to Miller in the centre circle. Goes inside 50, bit of space. Casbolt running into it, picks it up on the second bounce. His handball back to King. To Flanders, steps around one, little kick, it's not 15, hit the deck anyway. Lukosius, fancy stuff over his head, 1-2, gets it back, fakes the kick, that not so fancy, eventually shoots for goal, outside of his right boot. The Suns, no, the ball's just kept in play, although on the line. Is that a goal for Elijah Hollins? It is, who followed up. The Giants kept it in. They could have pushed it through for a behind, but Elijah Hollins there for the Suns. And they kick their third goal. 3-2-20. Scores are locked.
Well, it was messy. It was all over the shop.
I thought it was the circus.
Yeah. And, that's the thing with the Gold Coast Suns, and that's what worries me today. I mean, that's an unbelievable shot on goal, which stayed in play, and everyone stopped, bounced back in. No one knew what was going on a snap-on goal, but I'm just a little bit nervous, Sato. That was made up, a couple of handball chains, scrubby kicks, handball over the top behind, all that sort of stuff. That worries me, whereas the Giants look a little bit more clinical, a little bit more classy, and when they go inside 50, they look very dangerous.
Look at that big Levi chasing the ball towards his pocket. It was like Mr. Larson and Happy Gilmore, just sort of trudging after it with the arms swinging. Couldn't quite get there, Levi Casbolt, but Elijah Hollins does kick the major for the Suns. Scores back level, 3-2-20 apiece. Waiting for a clearance here, and player's been legged. It's going to be a Gold Coast free kick.
Have to lower your eyes here. Have to lower your eyes.
So Flanders, one of their players off contract as well. Had a good game last week against St Kilda. Inside 50 he goes. It missed Casbolt, it missed King. It slides out the back here. King, though, first to it. Doesn't quite bring it back into play. It goes over the behind line for a minor score. The Gold Coast ahead by 1. 3-3 plays 3-2. Approaching the half-hour mark here in Canberra.
Lockie Ash with the footy, re-signed during the week. Couple more puzzle pieces falling into play. The Giants will be happy with his signature. He plays on from the goal square and goes long up the wing. Andrew, another. I reckon he's taken 3 intercept marks on the same picnic rug of turf here on the wing. Goes inside 50. King in good position. Lukosius swings across the front of the contest. Second grab takes the mark. And the Suns will have another shot for goal as we approach quarter time.
It's a win, Sato. Yeah, force them long down the line. Mac Andrew, without Hogan being there and Cadman's working his craft, they're winning that option. So it's a really big win.
Yeah, it's always Andrew or Collins.
Yeah.
It's one of the two that's intercepting the ball and rebounding it back. They go inside 50. This time, Lukosius is probably the one that looks the most dangerous.
Yeah.
He was able to slip around and get to the front of the contest and take a really strong mark.
31 goals in 2023 for Jack Lukosius. Distance will not be an issue. Slide angle from 45 metres. It's even a half drop punt and it makes it through half post high on the siren. So the Suns 4-3-27, the Giants 3-2-20. A cruel blow for the Giants there on quarter time as the Suns take a 7-point lead.
So Lukosius' goal on the quarter time siren makes it 4 goal kickers, individual goal kickers in that first term for the Gold Coast Suns, along with Ainsworth, Hollins and Hawago Oya. A nice effort on the run midway through that first term, while for the GWS Giants, their goal kickers in that first quarter were Toby Green, Isaac Cumming and Brent Daniels. Beautiful, bright, sunny conditions here in Canberra. And it's the Gold Coast Suns who lead by 7 points at the first change. If you're listening across ABC Radio, News Radio, and of course via the ABC Listen app, this is Grandstand AFL.
Come in, come in. You desire diversion and entertainment. In the future, I see you entertaining yourself with podcasts on the ABC Listen app, going deep into conversations, delving into stories on days like these, and cackling away to Roy and HG. That is all. I don't want your money. The ABC Listen app is as free as laughter. Now go and download the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL. Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Anderson gets the clearance.
Goes toward the outer side. Strong up Olakosis on the outer wing. They surge forward here, the Gold Coast Suns. Up inside 50. Back there with the flight. Strong grab it is from Ainsworth. Control the ball to his chest. 45 out. He'll have a set shot from there. Ben Ainsworth kicks from 45. On its way, and he makes no mistake.
Riggs makes his way to front spot. Perryman goes long. Kick inside 50. It's a 3-on-3. No mark. Ball hits the deck. First to pick it up is Long, who's tackled. He tries to shake the tackle, and the umpire pays holding the ball. Second game back for Daniels and gets on the board. The Giants with their first.
Atkins was wrapped up by Bedford. Hand pass away here for Powell. Dribbles a kick inside 50 at the bootlaces of King. Worked away by Holman. Here comes Ace Hoyer through a gap. Throws it on the boot and snaps a goal off his left. Long tried to reach and pull it down. Powell brought down by Toby Green deep in the pocket. The umpire says holding the ball. Toby Green on a slight angle in the left forward pocket. 3 goals against the Crows last week on the approach and drives it home.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
First of our 3 games in round 19 of this AFL season, coming up at 3 Eastern time at the MCG. Melbourne versus Adelaide, and then later on St Kilda and North Melbourne at Docklands. Of course, the best place to find all of that is via the ABC Listen app, either on the AFL button or AFL Extra, which is where we are now today, as well as across local radio, Canberra, Gold Coast, and news radio throughout New South Wales and Queensland as well. The Gold Coast Suns by 7 points at the first change here in Canberra. Your experts are Mark McVeigh and Jason Saddington.
Well, the Suns have got the lead off the back of their defensive work. They've been terrific defensively, forcing the Giants to often go long down the line coming out of the back half, and they've got great results off that through Sam Collins and Mac Andrew taking marks, intercepting. Collins has had the 5 marks, Andrew 3 marks. In the absence of Jesse Hogan for the Giants, Riccardi's unable to bring the ball to ground. Cadman hasn't been able to bring the ball ground. So Gold Coast defensively blocking the Giants up, coming through the corridor, slowing them down, forcing them long down the line and winning the ball back. Just letting themselves down as they go inside 50, Spike, with some of their ball use. They're probably going a little bit too long at times, and Sam Taylor for the Giants has had a terrific quarter, intercepting as well, some massive spoils. And probably repelling some of the attacks that the Suns are trying to make in terms of their scoring pushes. On the flip side, though, the Giants, they have been able to score when the Suns themselves have turned the ball over through the middle part of the ground, chained up, and from a couple of defensive tackles inside 50 from Daniels and Toby Green who hit the scoreboard.
Well, look, it's a game of intercept marks. I mean, it's been over 30 in the first quarter. I mean, 17, 16. And as you suggested, they've been dominating the air. Now, the Giants now walking out to the second quarter, they need to identify that their game is a fast-paced, high-octane corridor game. They need to get that going. They haven't been able to. Well done to the Gold Coast Suns. They've identified it. They've slowed them up. Their forwards are emptying out. Their mids are exiting through corridor as much as they possibly can. Their backs are playing in front. They're getting that release for Collins and Mac Andrews. And off the back of that, they go inside 50. What I'd like to see from the Gold Coast Suns is, can we lower our eyes a little bit more? Can we flush Sam Taylor out, make him come out of that deep back 50 to allow us to go inside 50 without him being there? Ben King didn't have a great start to the game and will probably hopefully work into it, but I'd like to see him, as I suggested in halfway through the quarter, can he sit a little bit wide of the contest at times and let his other forwards go to work? And when he does come into, he's got to put a finger in the back of Sam Taylor. He can't let him have a run and jumper. He's got to compete with him in the air.
And one of those players that did look dangerous up forward was Lukosius. He could be the guy that perhaps you try and go through a little bit more, exactly. As opposed to, a King or even a Casbolt. Because at the moment, like you mentioned, Taylor has just got the advantage on King, and even Buckley and Iden probably had the better run on their tall opponents.
Any numbers stand out, Declan Byrne, at quarter time?
Well, off the back of his best game for the club last week, Sam Flanders is having another great game. 6 clearances already in his 10 possessions. We've heard Mark McVeigh and Jason Sadding talk about both those defenders. So Sam Collins, 8 disposals, and Iden doing well as Sam Taylor.
You mentioned that game in 2015. That was a 66-point win for the Giants over the Suns. The goal kickers that day, Cam McCarthy kicked 5 goals too. Yeah. Jeremy Cameron, 4 goals, 6. We had a real bag that day, Jezza. Dylan Shield had 38 touches as well. So feels like a long time ago when those players were running around for the Giants. Into the second term we go. Gold Coast Suns lead here by 7 points. Umpire spotted a hold here. It will go the way of the Giants. And back here for Kieran Briggs. Ruckman wastes no time. Drives it long inside, attacking 50. Riccardi's up there, so too Brown. At the back, though, searching his way through Lloyd. Great crumbing. Said thank you very much on the top of the square and slams it home for the Giants' fourth. 4-3-27 Gold Coast. Greater Western Sydney at 4-2-26. 50 seconds into this second term on Grandstand AFL.
Disappointing. Witts just gives away an easy free kick. It's a gift for the Giants. Goes in long and deep. They were able to crumb that ball. They had no coverage, which was interesting in their goal square. They all went up and tried to compete for that mark. And Lloydie, who's been an outstanding player since he's come across, he's closing on 100 games, which is exceptional from that young man. Easy goal.
From a good part of the world as well.
He is, yeah.
You had a big hand in getting him into the comp?
No, he's done a great job. He's done a really good job, and to play 96 or 97 games is a credit to him.
They've been at 25. He's now 31. Daniel Lloyd, of course, from Killarney Vale, your part of the world, Spike. So it's the Gold Coast Suns by 1.
Josh Kelly with the clearance. Goes backwards. Looks to find Ash, who runs through the middle. Delivers, but McPherson in best position in front of Bedford. Marks for the Suns, just inside his D50.
He's quite modest, Mark McVeigh. Had everything to do with Daniel Lloyd playing AFL footy.
Miller takes a mark, goes to Flanders for his 11th touch.
Not sure it's a big community on Central Coast, is it, for AFL? Aussie rules.
Flanders in the centre square, looks to switch the play and finds his captain Miller, who pulls it inboard. Diving mark from Witts spills it. Cleaning up his Cornelio. Hands back. And the Giants go long down the line. Cornelio in a one-on-one. No, it's Riccardi against Collins. Riccardi did well. Collins ushered it over the line. Collins probably had best position, but Riccardi, good body there.
He just doesn't look comfortable bodying Riccardi. He loves to run and jump at the footy, doesn't he? Or get on the lead. But, when he's got a body up, it's just not his natural game. You can see he's caught him sort of too well. He's almost better jumping on Collins' head that time.
Kieran Briggs with the clearance, grabs it out of the ruck. High ball in, really courageous from McPherson. He spills the mark, but he had Riccardi running towards him. Eventually the umpire blows the whistle for a ball up, but that was courage from McPherson.
Gold Coast by 1, 3 go on second term, up it goes. Both rucks missed it and then knocked out toward the pocket by either Briggs or Witts. It's going to be thrown back into play.
Briggs looks most dangerous when the ball hits the ground, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He can cover the ground really well.
Well, he's matching Wittsy in the strength stakes. They're wrestling, they're matching up, but when the ball hits the deck, he's just a bit too nimble and quick for Witts at the moment.
Umpire heaves it back in. Tuke Miller is lurking, although in turn it's Feddo to Atkins. Hand pass through traffic. It goes. Miller bursts by. Anderson off to McAndrew. Off half back to a one-on-one. Holland's out there with Haynes. Tracks it toward the wing. Swats it back here. It was clever stuff out there to McPherson. And now the hand pass comes wide again. Ainsworth gets it back here to the run of Hollands. Going inside, attacking 50. Leading up is Casbolt. Second bite, can't reel it in. Iden see it out of bounds on the junction of 50 at left half forward for the Gold Coast Suns Cathedral end. It's the Suns who lead 4-3-27 and the Giants are 4-2-26. 4 go on second term here on Grandstand AFL.
He's a terrific one-on-one player, Connor Iden, isn't he? He's so strong. He rarely gets beaten in a one-on-one, and even he's got Casbolt's measure in that game too, and he's a big strong man, Casbolt.
Swallow to Hollands, kicks it inside 50, spills over the back. Giants will mop up, although pressuring there is Anderson, who gets rid of his opponent. Picks up the footy, handballs into Lukosius. Himmelberg buries him into the turf. Ball spills free. Short kick finds Miller just inside 50.
You would like that short kick going inside 50?
I feel like the start of this, as he plays on,
kicks for goal, pushes it, pulls it across, so hooks it. Miller with the behind. Suns, another point, 4-4-28, plays 4-2-26.
Yeah, I feel like they've come out and decided we're going to just really own the ball and lower our eyes in the first part of this quarter, which is what I like to see. You've got to go forward, though. We can't go sideways and backwards. You've got to go forward.
It filled to the outer side. Hollands had the arm pinned by Haynes. Umpire watchful. Says, let's ball it up. At right half back for the Giants. 4-4 plays 4-2. 5 minutes go on second quarter here in Canberra. Up it goes. One down by Witts. Out in space. Swallow gets there first. Fires a hand pass back to Flanders, who was busy last week. Now Took Miller off a step. Hose it inside 50 here for Gold Coast. Little deep there for Casbolt. Tracking his way through here is Humphrey. And tangles up down there with Iden to set out of bounds for a throw-in. 30 around from goal at the Cathedral end. 4-4 plays 4-2. It's the Gold Coast Suns by 2 points.
You mentioned Flanders, Deck, at the quarter time out. His impact in the game so far. He's continued on so far this quarter.
Comes down to Haynes. Swallow looked like he might have had him high. You might have heard the groans from the crowd. The umpire didn't agree. So a ball up inside the Suns attacking 50. Briggs and Witts again do battle. Good tap from Briggs to the outside. Canelio just can't reach it. Hollands is there for the Suns. Has a bit of time. Tries to kick it to Lukosius, but well cut off by the Giants, and they run through the middle. Brent Daniels has a bounce, spills it. McAndrew on his hammer. He trips over, so Daniels' mistake will be fine from 55 metres. Daniels unloads for goal and just pulls it across. In fact, it won't even reach the goals, and it'll be run over the boundary line by Ballard. Daniels made the area in the middle of the ground, but behind him there was calamity. Andrew fell over and nearly kicked a beautiful running goal. So in the forward pocket for the Giants as the ruckmen slowly make their way down. It's nice when the boundary umpire waits for them to take their position. And I think Witts is up against Toby Green in the ruck here. And what do you know? Witts gets the tap down, although Flanders misses it. Greens follows up. Handball to Callaghan. Finn's back in. Cross the goal. Ball hits the deck. Still in dispute. Flying kick from, I think, Canelio, who's pretty good at those soccer-style goals, but missed it near side. It was Brent Daniel. So behind for the Giants.
They close the gap only by 1. It's a frantic passage of play on that occasion after the Daniels missed effort and almost made amends for it deep in that right forward pocket. The Suns beyond defensive 50. High ball toward the logo. Floating up Casbolt. Through the air with Briggs for company, and Oya is wrapped up down there by Canelio. Illegally, said the umpire. A little too high. It's up a hand pass. It was going Canelio. No, it wasn't. It was. Yeah, you're right, Spike. It was a high fend from Oya on Canelio. They go inside forward 50. And a strong grab taken deep in the pocket here by Toby Green.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did most of the players run the other way thinking it was Gold Coast free kick as well? The umpire did point that way as Gold Coast free kick.
Mark McVeigh was all over it. It was the fend from the attacking player, which gave away the free kick, but there was a bit of confusion as far as whether it was holding the ball or the tackler who was rewarded. In the end, the Giants go forward, and Toby Green can help them make the most of it. Lining up for his second, pulls it across his body from the set piece. He misses near side for a minor score. Scores a back level, 4-4-28 apiece. 9 go on second term grandstand AFL.
2 snaps, 2 behinds, Toby. See what he does next time he gets it, whether he go back for the old regular drop punt.
He practices them a lot, so it's rare that he misses those.
Rory Atkins kicks to Long down the middle. It's a short chip. He goes back to Atkins on his left, goes down the wing, and a fair bit of space there, so an easy mark for Hollands.
Yeah, I like this build-up. They've just got to keep finding it, keep moving, don't get stationary.
Hollands will go long. Rowell will be at the foot of the footy. Casbolt spills it. Holman wraps up Himmelberg. Hands off to Iden, and he gives hands to Ash down this far wing. Hands to Perryman. Good delivery to Haynes by hand as well. He goes inside. Callum Brown holds it. Goes back to Haynes, who kept running. Good bit of play here from the Giants. And the ball goes, I think, out of bounds on that far wing.
It was a great handball from Cal Brown. I thought they'd work their way through there out of the traffic. Just a long forward handball. If Haynes had been able to get it through, they were definitely breaking inside 50.
4-4-28 apiece. Back in it comes. One down by Witts. Rowell, the loose hand, gets it clear. Goes inside forward 50, but it's marked by Buckley. Good contest down there against Casbolt. Jack Buckley across the defensive goal here. Again for Iden. London-born, Geelong raised. Connor Iden looks for a way out. Short kick to Himmelberg. Still off contract with club circling for next year. Back into the corridor now for Ash. He re-signed during the week, as Declan Bird mentioned. Off half back he goes. Has room to bounce. Using the corridor now. Briggs in the contest with Witts. At ground level, Rail bursts by. Takes on a tackler. He's dispossessed. The umpire says play on. Witts goes in again. Hand pass out in space. Coming through Himmelberg for the Giants. Now off to Cornelio. Loopy hand pass out wide now for Haynes. Pressure from Hollands. Back to Cornelio, the former skipper.
Cornelio looks inboard. Has Ward free, who marks in the centre circle. The switch is on. He finds Cumming. 80 out from goal. Nearly goes, but instead waits. He's got a player in the pocket. Angwin marks for the Giants. About 45 from goal. On a really tight angle, so hard to see him kicking this. He's looking around. He wants a target. Angwin waits. Little chip to space. And Green marks in the pocket. So they waited for the right option. That was perfect.
He won't drop punt this for
Well, he can't. He has to snap this one from the pocket.
This is the snap one, and he only has to kick it 25 metres, really. So I'm sure more confident with this kick. He takes a couple of deep breaths, Toby Green. On his haunches, he ran hard for that one. Snaps for goal. And across the face. 3 snaps, 3 behinds. The Giants 4-5-29. They lead by a point over the Suns.
1 goal, 3 so far for Toby. He's having a Jeremy Cameron 2015 kind of day.
All the crowd didn't remember that one.
Might have 4 goals, 6 later on. Toby Green, I'm sure he wouldn't mind that actually if he gets 4 goals. Here they go. Atkins kicks out beyond offensive 50 for the Suns. Perryman floats across here. Loose ball gathered by Lockie Ash. Giants go forward of halfway again. Back into the pipe now. Riccardi off to Callahan. Closes to 45. One of the Rising Star nominees. It drops short, but it's marked down there by Callum Brown. Right in the behind line. Not sure whether Callahan meant that or either way, he found the option. Callum Brown deep at left, full forward. And a chance to extend the Giants' lead. The Irishman opens up the angles. The Irish do so well around the body with his set shot. And he finds another goal for the Giants. They're 5-5-35. Gold Coast are 4-4-28. We've played now 12 minutes in this second term on Grandstand AFL from Manuka Oval.
Cal Brown says that's how you snap it, Toby. Yeah, Spike, I noticed the last couple of kick-ins from Gold Coast, you've been shaking your head.
Yeah, it just seems really predictable. They're trying to make it up. They're kicking long down line, and off the back of that, the Giants are just winning it back. I feel like the wall's about to burst here. You can just sense it. In fact, the Gold Coast are doing a lot of chasing. They look tired. The Giants are running ragged. They're going back through the corridor, which they were able to stop them doing in the first quarter. I reckon there's danger signs in the coach's box for the Gold Coast. They need to somehow get their hands on the footy. They need to maintain possession. And you can defend with ball in hand. You can suck a bit of time out of the game, slow the momentum, if your skills are good enough. Now, maybe they're not, but they need to somehow stop this little momentum shift that's about to happen.
For all those people who get angry when a goal scorer goes off the ground, Callum Brown's done the opposite. He's in the ruck. He's gone straight back into the action, but a free kick against the Giants to Swallow, who hands to Miller. He's going to go deep. Buckley gets a push at the front. No mark. Ball hits the deck. Ainsworth there. Cops it high, but umpire says it was incidental. The Giants try and get it outside 50. Waiting there was Ellis. He goes a little 1-2 with Miller. Now on his left, 60 out. High kick, just the 25 metres. Good spoil from behind from Buckley. Finds Perryman. He gives it to Bedford, who gives it back to Cornelio, tackled. Good pressure there. Gets rid of it. Whitfield in the centre of the ground. Cornelio, there's the soccer skills, but it goes to Anderson, so a turnover. Handballs to Mac Andrew. He gives it to Ellis. They're 75 out from goal, and he's looking for Hollands, but Haynes over the top. Loses his feet. Hollands in good position. Picks up the footy. Goes back to Powell. Gets around 1. Skirts to 55. King's there, but overcooks it, and backing back is Callum Brown. Spoils it. Himmelberg picks up the loose footy. Kicks it outside. Ward buries Ellis in a tackle. And that was danger zone there for the Giants. And Ward just dived into Ellis and took him to the turf.
And David, don't argue on Whitfield earlier, did Ellis, but this time it was Ward all over him to bring him down. Tackle 40 out from Giants attacking goal. Down it comes. A little shy on goal. Misses to the right-hand side off the boot of Anderson. As the Giants, or the Suns, in fact, closed the gap to a clean goal. 5-5 plays 4-5. Adam Shirley on the boundary.
Yeah, halfback Lockie Ashoff for a quick breather, but everything good off the halfback line going through him this last 10 minutes. So he is pulling the trigger virtually every time they come through halfback and going forward. Gold Coast have to do something about him at the moment.
He's been really busy. Himmelberg on kick-out duties. Finds Whitfield. Sun in his eyes in his defensive pocket. Lifts up the hand. Goes up the line, and a strong mark from Cornelio. Rowell didn't even contest. Hands off to Perryman. He gives it to Cumming, to a running Callahan. 75 from goal, long kick, bit of space. Over the back. Powell first there to clean up and pushes it through for a rush behind. For the Giants, 5-6-36. They lead by 7 points to 4-5-29.
Well, they've 100% got their running game going, the Giants. Every time they win the foot, even from a mark, they're able to get a handball going or get a quick kick and keep the ball moving. Gold Coast do need to tighten up defensively, that's for sure. They're going coast to coast pretty easy at the present, the Giants.
Margin has not gone beyond 7 points either way. Has swung across a defensive goal mouth by McPherson to Mac Andrew in the left back pocket. Now exits defensive 50 with a kick to Atkins, the former Crow. I wonder if his hammer is Lloyd. Kick comes up the line though as it's knocked away in the contest by Cumming, and Ellis through a throw in on the eastern wing in front of the Tom Green fan club marquee. Of course, Tom Green currently injured, so not in the side. The local Canberra lad. There is a local lad from Queanbeyan out there in Josh Fay, or not out there quite yet. He's the sub today, and no action by way of subs. Josh Fay and Jai Farah for both of these sides. It's the Giants by 7 points.
Ball's thrown in. Casbolt doesn't quite reach it. Kicks it with his foot instead. Miller picks it up, but he's driven across the boundary line. We'll have another ball in from the same position.
It is interesting to see Cal Brown doing the ruck duty, Spike. I'm not sure he's done this before. I know this year they've tried Riccardi at times and Himmelberg, but first time I reckon Cal Brown's been given the duties.
Casbolt gets rid of Brown. Tries to get the clearance, but it misses his boot. Ward picks it up. Rowell on him immediately, and Casbolt helps out with the tackle.
Well, he's yet to find a position, really. He's done a lot of VFL stuff down at half-back, on forward, now into here. He's a really strong young man, and held his own there again.
Yeah, gets the tap, goes back. Cumming picks it up. Handball over the top to Cornelio. On his left, neat little kick for Green. Spoil from behind is illegal, so Toby Green will get the free kick on the edge of the 50. Ben Long infringing there. Not having his best game, Ben.
So this one will be a drop punt, Spike, because he's going to be kicking dead in front from 55. We'll see if we can get this one to go straight.
So 7 points the lead right now for the Giants. As you heard Brett Spriggs say, the biggest lead of the game is 7 points. This would get them out to 13. Toby Green, 1 goal, 3 for the day so far. Can he double his tally? He will kick from almost inside the centre square. He does. It's going to have to travel 60 metres. It's long and it's straight. Captain Green gets his second of the day, and the Giants have a 13-point lead. It is 6-6-42 to 4-5-29. Mark McVeigh and Jason Saddington, your experts here on Grandstand AFL.
Yeah, it's one of those things like Ben Long, I reckon, obviously a matchup they thought of during the week. He's hard, he's tough, he's desperate. He just looks like a bit of class he's lacking when it comes to defending Toby Green. Toby could have easily had 4 or 5 goals already. But they'll have to go into half-time and have a good look at it. They mightn't have another matchup for him, but they'd have to have a good look at it. But as I said, I just feel like the Giants are grinding this game away, and we'll go into half-time with a really handy lead. I just think they're on top in many areas of the ground. They can't get their ball movement going, the Gold Coast Suns, and when they do, they turn it over. So that's the thing you fight with in the coach's box, is that can we maintain possession? Are we good enough? Are we efficient enough? Or do we just have to get it outside 50 as far as we can?
Approaching time on second term. Giants by 13. Clearance goes the way of the Suns and Swallow deep inside 50. King was left behind. Whitfield burst by for the Giants. Has room to bounce away from the pace of Hawago Oya. And he sends a short kick here to Sam Taylor. Works the hand pass forward here for Iden. Sweeping ball again by hand to Angwin. A little messy this time. Whitfield running wide, beaten though by Swallow. As the Suns go back on the overlap again. Out to Flanders. Little 1-2 here with Humphrey. Humphrey loads up back inside, attacking 50 here for Gold Coast. King wants to sit. Put his hands in the back of Taylor. Umpire says play on, as Himmelberg can rebound off the goal line now toward the outer side. It's a nice pass by foot to Bedford.
Bedford marks and plays on. Tries to hit up Green, but misses it. Witts can't pick it up. So the birthday boy Ballard intercepts, goes long, poor execution. Himmelberg, an easy intercept mark. It was as if he was kicking it straight to him. He kicks it inboard to Kelly, who puts Iden under pressure. Humphrey closed, but Iden a strong mark for the Giants and plays on. Hands to Ash. He's on the logo. Has a run. Long on his right. Bit of space, bit of leap at the back. Green can't mark. Cadman, a clumsy tackle there. And Ben Long will get the free kick in his own defensive pocket.
Have to work the open side here. Can't go back to where the ball came from. They have to work the open side, and the midfielder's got to get going for you.
Instead, doesn't listen to Mark McVeigh. He comes down this near side. King in front. And I think might be his first mark of the day, Ben King. On his defensive flank. Looks inboard. Finds McPherson. Short 15-metre kick. So they're trying to work it deliberately, and the transition's on. Here they go. Switches to Andrew, who marks on the edge of the centre square. And a good kick to Flanders.
50.
Green pushed him over. Flanders was half looking to handball. The umpire's lenient. Flanders goes to that wing to Powell. Having his best year, averaging 20 disposals, Will Powell. Goes long. Buckley in good position for the Giants. It falls over the back of him. Casbolt with it. Hands to Angwin though. Callahan gets it and gives it back to Iden, and they sort it out.
Taylor has room here to think about the bounce. Goes the hand pass to Daniels, away from Mac Andrew. Pulls it back into the centre square now. Strong chest mark taken by Toby Bedford. On the logo as they surge forward the orange and charcoal. Hand pass off to Daniels. High kick inside 50 here for the Giants. Floating across Daniel Lloyd again. Cadman was waiting for it. Knocked away here in space by Long. Out to Collins. Panic kick goes up in the air towards half back here for the Suns. Up goes Angwin for the Giants. Hand pass from Hollands to Mac Andrew. And the Gold Coast Suns can rebound. Back to the wing. Ooh, Taylor and Buckley. Bit of friendly fire there for the Giants. Loose ball. Onto it is Casbolt as Buckley is still down in back play. Hand pass comes into the corridor. Tuke Miller spun the tackle of Kelly. Out to Casbolt. Works them forward of halfway now. It's Flanders in space. He's 55 out. Has an option presenting from full forward. Goes to find it down there. It's knocked away. A nice spell from Himmelberg, although no, too high, says the umpire that time on Ainsworth. It's going to be a Gold Coast Suns free kick deep in the right forward pocket. An opportunity here for Ben Ainsworth, 35 out on a tough angle in the right forward pocket.
You look at, they've got to move the ball quicker. If they go take a mark and they go back off the mark really slow, the Giants are that good at getting back and helping their defence. If they can get runners off the hip, once they find the corridor, once they get out and open, they have to go into a disorganised Giants defence. But at the moment, they're going too slow off the back and marking the footy.
Kicking their first goal, Ben Ainsworth. Here he is lining up for his second. Angle tougher than 45 degrees. It's a pure set shot. Over the goal umpire's hat for the Gold Coast Suns to get back a little closer to Greater Western Sydney. It's the Giants who are 6-6-42. Gold Coast 5-5-35. Margin back to 7. 23 gone second term as we head back to the boundary. Adam Shirley.
Looked like a big sword cork to the thigh, right quadriceps region of Jack Buckley, guys. It was a pretty heavy contest, as you called, and he's just trying to run it off at the moment, but came up clutching that quadriceps thigh region as he tried to jog off from the spot.
And you know, it's a goal that the Gold Coast needed. It's probably against the grain a little bit. Every time they've gone inside 50, they haven't really threatened. You know, the Giants defenders have been able to pick it off quite easily, some easy spoils, and then run it back out. And that time, you know, you get lucky perhaps with a softish free kick on Himmelberg's spoil, but you know, you got to take the chance, and they've kicked the goal. So important goal for Gold Coast, perhaps against the grain.
Ainsworth averaging better than a goal a game in 2023. Witts taps it to Rowell, who misses it out of mid-air. Giants get it going forward. Suns get it going forward, but Whitfield takes the intercept mark here at Manuka. A diving outfield catch, maybe of a different sport. Whitfield kicks it as long as he can towards Green, who flew, but the ball came over the back to Brown, who has a bounce. Handball inboard. Daniels could have run into goal. It was just behind him, so he has to go back. Kicks it to a paddock where there must have been a player at one point, but there wasn't anyone there. Eventually, Giants work it out. They get the handball back to Iden, who's in the centre square. He has a spare man to his left. It's Toby Green who marks on the 50.
Well, they made that difficult.
I'm not sure who Daniels was kicking to. Maybe he got a call. Eventually it worked for the Giants. they just had numbers at the contest there and behind as well. So went back to Iden in that, I suppose, quarterback position. And you had Toby Green, who is still free. Toby's already got 2. He kicked one from 55 plus only a few minutes ago. So we know this won't be an issue. He's on a 45-degree angle. Took Miller standing the mark as well. So maybe he can get as close as he likes as he approaches. Toby Green opens up the angle on his right, but he hooks it and it'll go out of bounds.
Mean step.
Won't add to his 2 goals, 3, Toby Green. Remains 7 points, the Giants lead. 6-6 plays 5-5. Mac Andrew to kick out, or kick back in, alongside the right behind post. The commentary side, Briggs and Witts in the contests. Casbolt trying to tunnel it away here as well as the umpire hovers and will blow it up again.
Buckley's still out there. He looks like he's moving okay from that heavy contact just earlier.
A collision with his teammate Sam Taylor, who's out there as well. As the Suns try to bring it clear, this time the tackler was Brent Daniels on Matt Rowell. Himself, Matt Rowell, a pretty good tackler as well. One of the comp leaders in that stats category. Hand pass, Cornelio, Daniels, back into Himmelberg. Searching kick, high inside, forward 50 here for the Giants. Out to a 3-on-3. Out the drop, Cadman. First pair of hands to it, though, is Ben Long. He was run down by the number 1 draft pick of last year. McPherson can rebound ball now. Casbolt and Taylor. Good knock away here by Taylor to Whitfield. Going inside, forward 50 on the half volley for Angwin. Tracks it now, 40 out. Hurried kick goes across the face, minus score. So the Giants just keep peppering away. There's 6-7-43. The Gold Coast 5-5-35. 27 go on second term as we approach half-time.
Angwin would have been his first goal in the AFL.
Yeah.
Had a good shot at it. Instead, a minor. Powell kicks out to Flanders.
No movement, so he has to go long.
It's exactly what he does, hoping for a mark from Witts, who gets a bit of space on his opponent. Got a block, I think. Himmelberg was way behind him. So Witts marks and kicks it up the wing again. Ainsworth and Whitfield. Whitfield went early, didn't get enough of the footy to warrant a sufficient attempt. So Ainsworth for the Suns with the free kick.
And they work the open side of the field here to take out Sam Taylor.
Goes long instead inside 50. Casbolt with a bit of room. No one with him. Himmelberg comes late and spoils. Lukosius at the front, but Giants get it. And Haynes will backtrack. No one on him. So he goes all the way back to his goal. Has a second, has a third bounce. And escapes out the outer wing.
Milestone man Perryman kicks toward the outer side. Out to the one-on-one. Out there was Brown with Collins. And it's off each set of hands and over for a throw-in.
That's disappointing then. When the ball goes in one side, Sato, your wingers have got to be so diligent at keeping their balance. They can't get sucked in, so when the opposition exit, they're running into a wall or they've got to force it back down the line. And the Gold Coast Suns getting very skinny and just allowing them to walk out.
Giants by 8 points. Back in it comes on the eastern side of Manuka Oval. Worked away here by Cornelio. Tumbles it back down the line here. And again, it's Brown and Collins in the contest. Throw in here, closer to goal this time for the Giants. 65 around from the pool end. 6-7 players, 5-5. It's Greater Western Sydney who lead by 8 points as we approach half-time.
Witts and Briggs, again, lock horns. Ball comes to the front to Kelly, gets half a handball. Rowell is tackled, he gets a handball as he's on the deck. So the Suns will break through Ellis. And he goes long to the one-on-one. Good bit of body there from Casbolt on Buckley. Takes a mark, 70 out. Kicks along to another one-on-one. Lukosius leading up and marks.
Great body.
Lukosius in front of Taylor, marks in the forward pocket. He's already kicked one this afternoon, 32 for the season. He's their second leading goal kicker, and with Ben King not kicking a goal for 3 weeks, he might catch in this game. Just 2 ahead of him now. So Lukosius basically on the boundary line. Across his body, he'll kick. On his right foot. Looks good. And gets the goal. Lukosius has his second. The Suns have 6. Giants still leading 6-7-43. But the Suns close the margin to 2 points. They're 6-5-41.
They've rallied. They've rallied really well. And that's the difference there. You know, they kick it in long. It's a 1v1, isn't it? It's Sam Taylor can't get his opponent lost in traffic and the junk and sit off and make a run at it. They actually made him accountable there. Fantastic kick to the advantage side of Lukosius, who takes a really good mark and kicks a really good goal. I'm interested in you, Sato, about what can they do with Big Ben King. What can they do there? I mean, he's hardly touched the footy. He doesn't even look like it at times. Is there anything else they can do? Can they pinch him in the ruck, or do they want to protect him? Can he go to centre half back to help him out?
Well, yeah, you can throw him around either spot, or you just sort of send him deep and just let him probably do some of his craft work leading out, or last line in the forward line. Try and, again, pull him back a little bit further.
Rowell tracks the footy here, goes forward of halfway, again inside 50. Himmelberg, though, waits back and intercepts, denying the Suns a late chance at goal. In this first half in Canberra, towards the other side it goes. And that will be all she wrote with the opening couple of quarters. A game that could be so consequential for top 8 permutations, not just for these two sides, but just in the general picture of things. And it's still anyone's game from here. It's the Giants 6-7-43, the Gold Coast Suns 6-5-41. The margin was at one stage 13 points, a game high the Giants' way. The home side have their goal kickers like this. Toby Green has 2 goals, 3 singles to... let me have a little look here for the Giants. Toby Green has 2 goals, 3 singles to Daniels, Brown, Cumming and Lloyd. Meanwhile, for Gold Coast, as you mentioned there, Jack Lukosius with his second. Ainsworth also has 2 individuals to Hollins and Oyer as well here for the Gold Coast Suns. The margin 2 points at the major break. 6-7-43 plays 6-5-41. Your experts on Grandstand AFL are Mark McVeigh and Jason Saddington.
Well, interesting quarter, and the fact that the first half of that quarter, it was the Giants that looked like they were really starting to get their game going. They were getting some easy ball movement. They got their run off half back. Lockie Ash was starting to dash through. Even Daniels and Bedford as half forwards were getting up high and getting involved in some run and carry from half back through the middle of the ground. And going forward, it was Toby Green that was looking dangerous. He was marking the footy. He was getting shots on goal. They probably didn't take some chances. Toby missed a couple. Even Cal Brown and Daniels sort of mucked one up when they were running inside straight towards goal and overplayed the footy. But Gold Coast just sort of hung around there. They managed to probably slow it up a little bit and change some of their ball movement. Yep. I know that you're asking for Spike, create a few more contests, and going inside 50 early on, they're probably just sort of blazing away a little bit, and it was still easy for Himmelberg and Taylor and Iden to pick the ball off and run it out. But the longer the quarter went, the more they started to perhaps get it inside a little bit quicker and find a bit of space and a bit of one-on-one. And that last goal that Lukosius kicked, both he and Casbolt actually got off their opponent and took some uncontested marks and got him when there was a bit of space. And they've actually done quite well. Gold Coast to only be 2 points down here, because early on in that quarter it was quite ominous, the Giants' ball movement. Yeah,
you're exactly right. I think looking at the game, the Gold Coast Suns clearly need to keep it in stoppage. They need to keep it in tight. Every time it bubbles out and it just gets onto that loose ball, the Giants look dangerous. They've got good speed. Their halfbacks ignite as soon as they see an opportunity. If the Gold Coast Suns, and if you look at some of the players that are in there, like Rowell and Swallow and these type of players, Took Miller, we know he's got leg speed. It looks like if they can keep it inside, they look a lot better, and just sort of bully their way through, and then a dirty ball inside 50 is not what they want, because the Giants are so good at just picking that ball off. But if they can keep the ball in a little bit tighter and then be a bit more efficient going inside 50, it keeps you within a chance. As soon as that ball bubbles out and they're able to get onto a loose ball, they look really dangerous. The forwards of the GWS Giants take off and go inside 50, and you look at Daniels, looks dangerous when he's got the ball. Toby Green's had plenty of shots on goal. Callum Brown's exceptionally fast. He's deceptively fast when the ball gets out the back, as quick as anyone I've seen in the game, especially at training. So they'll want the ball out in open space. The Gold Coast Suns need to keep it in.
Brent Daniels has got 13 touches. I feel like he's pushed higher and higher and been in a lot of stoppages.
Yeah, he's been really important, getting back and help. Is that high forward that gets up. So when they win the ball across half back, he's getting involved in some of that chain as they come through the middle with the handballs, the run and carry. Bedford, I think, has also been important in that aspect. Probably the one thing that the Giants are struggling with is their tall forwards. I think Riccardi and Cadman, neither have had impact, and they're probably a little bit lost and out of position at times. And we did speak certainly in the first quarter and before the game around to Jesse Hogan, and I think without him in the team, I think it's showing a big challenge for the Giants. If they don't have him in the team, it's a little bit harder for them going forward to have more impact.
Yeah, I think Cadman he's obviously not ready. And Ugle Hager was the same. He wasn't ready when he first started. He had to go back to the VFL, learn his craft. Now he's a dominant force for the Western Bulldogs. Cadman's hopefully going to be the same. He's like for like with Hogan. He should be a good contested mark, but it doesn't help them when they go long down the line. And that's why I think they need to keep speed on the ball. They need to surround the stoppage with Bedford and Daniels, so when that ball does come out, they're onto it and they're away. When it goes to a contested situation where they've got to take a big mark, they're getting hurt. But if they can lower their eyes and use their speed and chain through the corridor like they have done all year to challenge the opposition, they look a lot more dangerous. On the flip side, what do we do? What do you do with King? Like it's I know, and I take your point. Do you just put him in the cage and say, mate, you've got to grind through this. Yep. You're on a really good player. Yep. He's a star of the competition. You haven't kicked a goal for 3 weeks. We understand that you're going to grind away. Or do you say, no, where else can he help us? Can he pinch hit in the ruck? Maybe they can't because he's had some injuries and they'll look after him. Can he go to centre half back and be really dangerous and get their intercept mark game going, and off the back of that go inside 50? I don't know. I think it's one they're just going to have to discuss.
Yeah, it's often a character test, isn't it? Like, you know, some key forwards, if they are out of form, you can swing them around, and it's almost like in the races you put a horse over the hurdles and it sort of sharpens them back up and they get back into some form. But you know, I don't know, Ben King, you know, is that something that would suit him? Is it his character to go back and grind it out and physical it out a little bit to then go forward perhaps with some better form?
Well, they are in the game, so you could argue, you know, he's not having a big impact, but they are in the game. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. And the other one I'll put to everyone in here is, you know, Long. Do they persist with him on green? I mean, he's had a lot of shots on goal. He does look a little bit out of his depth, but they've probably locked him in all week for it.
Yeah, it's in the air. I reckon Toby's looking dangerous. Yep. The aerial contest, I think, where he's got the advantage on Long. In terms of other matchups, yeah, I mean, that's probably the challenge, isn't it? It's who else?
Sub. They've got Jai Farrell. They can always tactical Ben Long out, but whether that's the appropriate sort of matchup.
Yep. I mean, you can always go Collins, but I think Collins is doing a great job at picking up not the best forward, but dropping off and being able to get their intercept game going.
So 2 points the margin here out the way of Greater Western Sydney after earlier the Suns led by 7 points at quarter time. So the Giants 6-7-43 leads Gold Coast 6-5-41. Back with more from Manuka Oval shortly. But right now it's time for us to head to the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. The AFL is investigating multiple racist messages sent to Port Adelaide player Willie Rioli after the club's loss to Collingwood last night. Yvette Gray with the details.
The racial abuse was directed towards Port Adelaide forward Willie Rioli on social media after an on-field incident during the club's 2-point loss to Collingwood at Adelaide Oval. The AFL has confirmed it's investigating the matter and has offered Rioli wellbeing support. AFL CEO-elect Andrew Dillon says racist comments caused significant hurt and harm and no one should be subjected to such abuse. He says Rioli is a talented athlete and impressive young man. Both clubs have also condemned the behaviour, with Port Adelaide asking for Rioli's privacy to be respected.
The New South Wales Premier says police have allocated significant resources to investigating a triple shooting at Greenacre in southwestern Sydney early this morning. Police were called to Mayvick Street and found 2 people in a critical condition and another in a stable condition. A burnt-out car was found at nearby Regent's Park. New South Wales Premier Chris Minns says it's very concerning.
I'll just say that we're assured this morning that there's a full police response in relation to that incident, and those who've committed this offence run the risk of spending the rest of their lives in jail.
Officials on the Greek island of Rhodes say up to 30,000 people have been moved to safety because of the threat of wildfires. Around 2,000 locals and holidaymakers have had to be evacuated from beaches, with Navy, Coast Guard and private boats being used to ferry people off of the island. The region's been sweltering under high temperatures amid a record-breaking heat wave. Katie Peacefield Holmes is on holiday on Rhodes and says they've been told their hotel is safe for now.
You can very much see the fire. It's bright orange. The sky is lit up. But at the moment, the wind is blowing it around the hotel. and sort of behind us rather than into the hotel resort. So at the moment, it feels quite safe in our room, and out the front is clear and we can get to the beach if we need to.
Voting is underway in Cambodia's general elections. Incumbent Prime Minister Hun Sen has cast his ballot at a polling place in the centre of the country. Hun Sen, who's been in power for 38 years, is expected to win in a landslide after the largest opposition party was barred from taking part in the election. Loud explosions have been reported in the Ukrainian port city of Odessa. Officials say Russian airstrikes have killed at least one person and injured 18 others. Attacks on Odessa have intensified over the past week after a suspected Ukrainian strike on the Kerch Bridge, which links Russia with occupied Crimea. The Tasmanian Premier, Jeremy Rockliff, has announced he'll add state development to his ministerial responsibilities. Loretta Lohberger reports.
Mr Rockliff announced last week he'd resign as Health Minister so he could be more involved in driving economic growth. It's not yet known who Tasmania's new Health Minister will be. Mr Rockliff will retain the mental health and wellbeing portfolio. As part of the reshuffle, Mr Rockliff will take state development from Guy Barnett, as well as keeping trade and tourism. In a statement, Mr Rockliff says he wants to send a strong message about the priorities of his government, that its focus is on economic growth and job creation. Deloitte's latest business outlook shows the economy contracting to be the worst performing state in the country.
158 public high schools in South Australia have banned mobile phones from tomorrow. Most schools have brought in the ban progressively over the school year, with the last 27 schools about to join. South Australian Education Minister Blair Boyer says behaviour's improved since teenagers were told to put their phones away or leave them at home.
Phones off when school's on has worked really effectively, with not just benefits in the classroom but in the schoolyard and around things like bullying and harassment as well. So listen, it's been positive news so far. I'm looking forward to hearing more of that feedback.
A fibre optic cable linking Darwin to Singapore and Jakarta has gone live. The connection is one of 4 data cables linking Australia to the rest of the world. Ellie Sweeney is the CEO of Vocus, the company behind the project. She says the cable will deliver secure, high-capacity connection between Darwin and Asia.
So it's a really exciting opportunity to be able to have another access point into Australia. You know, at the moment, if you think about the cable systems coming into Australia, which you probably don't, they're coming into Sydney, Maroochydore, they're coming into Perth, and now we've got an international cable coming into Darwin as well.
And the New South Wales government has restricted the movement of some materials after fire ants were detected in southern Queensland. They've been detected on the Gold Coast, about 11 kilometres from the New South Wales border. ABC News. You can get more news at any time by downloading the ABC Listen app.
Start bowls to Oates, steps away and slashes it for 4. And England have won.
And England fight back has kept the Ashes series alive.
It's 2-1 with 2 to play.
Can Australia turn it back in their favour and seal the Ashes with a win in the 4th test? Don't miss a minute of the series that has captured the imagination of the cricketing world.
This is Test cricket at its very best.
The Ashes continues tonight. Hear every ball live on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the red cricket button.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Kieran Briggs, Ruckman, waste no time, drives it long inside, attacking 50. Riccardi's up there, so too Brown. At the back though, searching his way through Lloyd. Great crumbing. Said thank you very much on the top of the square and slams it home for the Giants' 4th. Loose ball gathered by Lockie Ash. Giants go forward of halfway again. Back into the pipe now. Riccardi off to Callaghan. Closes to 45. One of the Rising Star nominees. It drops short, but it's marked down there by Callum Brown. Right in the behind line. The Irishman opens up. The angles for the Irish do so well around the body.
Cumming picks it up. Handball over the top to Cornelio. On his left, neat little kick for Green. Spoil from behind is illegal. So Toby Green will get the free kick on the edge of the 50. Toby Green, 1 goal, 3 for the day so far. Can he double his tally? It's going to have to travel 60 metres. It's long and it's straight. Captain Green gets his 2nd of the day.
Tuke Miller spun the tackle of Kelly. Out to Casbolt. Works them forward of halfway now. It's Flanders in space. He's 55 out. Has an option presenting from full forward. Goes to find it down there. It's knocked away. A nice ball from Himmelberg, although no, too high, says the umpire that time on Ainsworth. Ben Ainsworth, here he is lining up for his 2nd. Angle tougher than 45 degrees. It's a pure set shot. Over the goal umpire's hat.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital,
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Tight game here in the capital. The Giants 6-7-43 leads the Gold Coast Suns 6-5-41. 2 points the margin at the major break. You're with Brett Sprigg, Declan Byrne, Mark McVeigh, Jason Saddington and Adam Shirley with you for the first of 3 games in AFL round 19. Coming up later on at the MCG at 3:20. So within the hour, it'll be the Demons and the Crows. Some massive games across this weekend. That's certainly one of them. And also later on to close the round, St Kilda versus North Melbourne at Docklands. That's the 4:40 start, of course, all times Eastern. We'll keep you across that Melbourne-Adelaide game when it gets underway, as I say, within the hour. And also some bad news just out of footy as far as Will Ashcroft is concerned. The Brisbane rising star and father-son, one of their shining lights this year, and confirmation an ACL out of his knee injury a couple of nights ago. So that is bad news for the Brisbane Lions and Will Ashcroft, and that's in fact the Gold Coast Suns' next opponent, the Brisbane Lions, in Q-Clash 26 next Saturday in the twilight at Carrara. So that's what's next for them. And by the way, in the VFL, there's a curtain raiser here. The Gold Coast Suns beat the Giants by 40 points. Around the grounds across the other sports, in the NRLW, the first weekend of competition there, West's Tigers beat the Parramatta Eels 36-8. While in the there's also a game coming up later on. It's Cronulla and Canberra in both of their inaugural appearances in the NRL women's competition. While in the NRL men's first grade, the Panthers Penrith leads Canterbury Bankstown 24 points to 0, 26 minutes into the first half there at Panthers Stadium. The last game of round 21 in the NRL will be Cronulla and Manly at Shark Park a little later on as well. In the FIFA World Cup, of course, Women's World Cup, we've got coverage of a game a day here on ABC Sport via the Listen app. Sweden v South Africa later on. Netherlands and Portugal and France and Jamaica doing battle in Sydney. Of course, in the cricket, can't forget that, where Australia have clawed back at a very rainy Manchester, Old Trafford, with day 5 getting underway in about 5.5 hours from now. Australia to resume on 5 for 214, with Mitch Marsh on 31 and Cameron Green on 3. They require still 61 runs just to make England bat again, but of course the weather is England's enemy, because if day 5 is a washout, it'll be enough to force a draw, and Australia will retain the urn despite their somewhat indifferent form since the first 2 tests of the series in the men's Ashes. So, of course, coverage, as always, uninterrupted via the ABC Listen app. Just look for the cricket ball there, and you can find full coverage as per usual. In the golf, of course, the Open Championship, the British Open, with the final round getting underway later on tonight. Brian Harman, the American, leads that by 5 shots on his countryman Cameron Young. John Rahm is one further back from there, outright third. Then a share of 4th is where you'll find Jason Day, 5 under the card overall, and a little slip there from Minwoo Lee, who was thereabouts. He's now back to -2 and a share of 17th, with the likes of Max Homer and Jordan Spieth. Ricky Fowler's one back from there. That's what's happening at Royal Liverpool with the Open Championship, if you follow your golf, as Declan Byrne certainly does. Of course, full coverage, all the news, sports results, abc.net.au/sport. Teams are back out there for the second half, not too far away. The Giants lead this one by 2 points. What else takes our fancy numbers-wise, Declan?
Well, Sam Flanders, who's coming off 33 last week, is in the mix again. He's got 17 touches already, including 6 clearances. He's only, well, I think he turns 22 tomorrow, actually. So a young midfielder that they're finding there, especially with Rowell and Anderson having quieter days by their standards, just 7 and 9 touches. Those two, Rowell and Anderson, in the top 10 for clearances this year comp-wide. Atkins as well for the Suns with 14. For the Giants, Canelio with 16. Daniels and Himmelberg with 13. And as we mentioned at half-time, it's pretty much green or bust at the moment. He's got 2-3 with an out-of-bounds on the full. Cadman, 1 touch. Riccardi, 4. So, you know, if they do get a good match on green, it could spell trouble for the Giants.
No, absolutely could. I think a lot of footy games come down to the midfield and how the midfield's going, and you mentioned some of the low numbers traditionally for a Rowell and Anderson. It's probably 2 players that need to find some more footy for Gold Coast to really step up and try and take this game. And Spike, you called for just before we went on break there at half time for perhaps some more of that clearance type contest contested type play from Gold Coast. So those players become important. Flanders has been outstanding. I think he's been one of their better ball users as well, even to go along with his 16 touches. And I think for the Giants, from their midfield point of view, you normally see Canelio and Kelly getting shots on goal, and it's something we haven't seen yet today. They haven't found that opportunity to get forward and get some of the shots on goal. So midfield, if one of those two midfield and midfielders types can start to get on top, that might make a difference.
Just watching Adam Kingsley spend a lot of time with Riccardi and Cadman, one-on-one, talking to him about what we think they'd be saying is, we need you to compete. We need you to make sure that ball comes to ground. We can't have any intercept marks of any high balls. You've got to bring it to ground.
By the way, team news at the MCG, a couple of changes for the Crows. Ned McHenry and Paddy Parnell replaced in the selected side by Luke Nankervis and Lockie Murphy. The subs, firstly for the Ds, Joel Smith, and for the Crows, Jackson Haitley. We'll keep you across that. Or there's a full call via the ABC Listen app. Just look for the main AFL button. Meanwhile, Monica Oval, second half underway. Here's Declan Byrne.
Jared Witts and Kieran Briggs ready. Kieran Briggs, the number one ruckman for clearances since round 10. He's got 2 already today. Might get another one here. He does. Hands it to Ward. Ward has a few steps on his right. Kicks it as long as he can. Big lead from Riccardi, but a spoil at the back from Powell. Front of the contest was Kelly on his left. Silky smooth start for the Giants, and that's what you get with Josh Kelly. 7-7-49 to 6-5-41. The first goal within 30 seconds. That is a start.
Sato, you called for it.
Take long.
Called for it. A midfielder leaving stoppage quickly and kicking a goal. I mean, that's Briggs again. On the ground, follow-up work. Looks quicker than Jared Witts on ground, but looking at the coverage as this ball goes inside 50, it's poor. He's by himself, Josh Kelly, and waltzes into a relatively easy goal for him on his left foot.
Oh, in normal play, as a midfielder, you shouldn't get beaten to the next contest now. But certainly on a Josh Kelly, with the class that he's got, it's even more important that you've got him covered.
28 touches against the Crows last week. He had a career low the week before that against Hawthorn.
Tagged heavily.
8 points. The Giants back out by that margin. Restart back in the middle. Witts keeps his feet, gets rid of Briggs. Hose a kick forward here, only as far as Haynes, who drops it. Holman there gathers for the Suns. Hand pass off to Flanders. He can just squib towards the flank now. It's knocked away by Iden into the lap of Huago Oya. Comes back into the corridor for Casbolt, who leads out to the pocket and takes the mark deep in the right forward pocket. 35 out. Former Blue.
You just put any time you can get it into some space for Ace. He's going to hurt you. It was a lovely little kick too there to Casbolt on the lead. He hasn't got on the lead too much today. But, if you can find that little bit of space, put it in front, he is a strong mark.
He kicked 3 goals last time these sides met. That was round 3 of last year, way back then. Here he is with a drop punt from deep in that right forward pocket. That's how they do it. That's how you should do it. Straight as you like, from a tough angle. And Levi Casbolt gets the immediate response there for the Gold Coast Suns. They're 7-5-47. Trail the Giants, who was 7-7-49. 2.5 played third term, grandstand AFL.
There's just 2 goals from direct centre bounce clearance. Witts eyed up a little bit there. Won the, sort of to his advantage in terms of using his body weight, being able to grab that ball. Haynes drops an easy mark and away they go. So centre clearance is so important. Centre bounce clearance is so important. And this is where Jared and obviously Briggsy, they're 2 different games, aren't they? When the ball hits the ground, it looks like an advantage for the Giants. If they can keep it in tight here, the Gold Coast Suns, they stay within a chance.
He's an old school footballer, Levi Casbolt, with a drop punt from the pocket.
Not known for his goal kicking either, Levi.
Well, he's kicked 50 goals for the Suns now. Umpire balls it up. Rao with the clearance to Flanders, who escapes the contest. Sort of runs around the backside and comes to this Easton, to the members wing, Lukosius, front spot, can't control it. Second go, he's ushered across the line by his opposite number coming. And the ball will be thrown in about 80 metres out from the Suns' goal.
Just got to keep living within a 5 or 6 metre bubble at the contest all the time, the Gold Coast Suns.
Witts gets the tap, but he was on the ground. He'd already been pushed. Umpires tempted to play advantage. Flanders was away. That was an amazing tap to advantage. Briggs had pushed Witts. He was on the ground. He still got a fist to it, which went directly to Flanders. Would have preferred to see that play on, but the umpire spoils the fun. Witts from 75 on his left, goes long, Taylor in good position for the Giants, and marks.
Not the right kick.
The reigning centre half back for the Giants, for the All-Australian team, Sam Taylor, goes short to Cumming in the pocket. He chips it over the top to a running Whitfield. They're outside 50 now. He chips it to Ward, working it out easily.
So with King and Taylor, is it a changing tactic? Maybe not position, but just play as a defensive tall forward? Just hold him down.
Don't lead. Don't lead as a key forward. Just play from behind, and every time he jumps, you jump with him, you bring it down.
Switch across half-back. Ward to Cumming to Iden. Finds Perrin in space here. Takes a mark going back with the flight. He's on that outer wing here, the eastern side of Manuka Oval. The Giants by 2 points. Perryman called to play on now. Loads up high inside forward to 50. Backing back is Witts through the fingertips of Collins. Fires a hand pass back to his ruckman and co-captain. Now Atkins can rebound the ball here for the Suns. Back toward the wing. Taylor missed the spoil. It dropped though Cornelio. Gets it back here as well to Ash. Works it across to Callaghan. They'll try again for the members' side of Manuka Oval here, the Giants.
And Callaghan goes wide, finds a running Briggs. Made good meters and a good mark. His kick not that great. Just short of Ward, who makes it look a bit better. Goes long inside 50, Ward, but Collins again, just as he started the first quarter, reads it better, left his man and took an intercept mark about 10 metres out from his own goal. Although his kick is unfortunately not so good. It went over the top of Mac Andrew, which is hard to do. Mac Andrew standing at some 202 centimetres. And the ball went out of bounds. Not deliberate, just unfortunate for the Suns. So we're inside the Giants' attacking end. Briggs taps it down. Daniels roved but missed it. Cadman, second go. Hands it off to Kelly on his right foot on the boundary line. Squares it up. Spoil from Collins. Favours Bedford. He dropped the footy. Rowell tackled him. And the umpire pays the free kick to Rowell.
You probably hear people at home going, why would you not want Ben King to lead at the footy and just to... But if he's not touching the ball and he's having no influence on the game, his biggest influence could be nullifying the best interceptor in the game right now.
That was Charlie Ballard's first mark of the day, by the way, considering he leads the comp for intercept marks. The kick goes toward the outer side. And King drops it again on the outer side here. Now Whitfield on a loose ball. Evades the tackle. Goes towards half forward. Off to Angwin. Running by here is Daniels with a finish from 45. Brent Daniels. What about that for the Giants? Another class finish. Margin back out to 8 points. They're 8-7-55. The Gold Coast Suns 7-5-47. 7 played third term here on Grandstand AFL from Canberra.
I think they've got to make the move with Ben King. I know we keep talking about it. He's just dropped a sitter there. Off the back of that, they go to work the Giants and kick a goal. They've got to change up. They've got to have a good word to him. What can they do to help him out? Can he play on the wing? Can he sit back behind the ball? Can he help them out? I just think the call needs to be made.
Is it mental now? Three weeks without a goal and he's dropping marks like that. That's not skill, is it?
No, confidence plays a big part, a huge part. I mean, it's not helping you down on form and you come up against Sam Taylor either. It's the worst matchup you wanted.
So back in the middle, Brent Daniels, a multiple goal kicker now for the Giants, joining Green in that department. Ball slammed into the turf, favours Witts, who's going to follow up his tap with a clearance to Anderson. Short handball to McPherson. His kick makes life hard for Oya. And Cornelio gets involved. Handballs to Iden down this eastern wing. They get a chain going to Haynes. He kicks long inside 50. Big leap from Riccardi, but again spoiled. At the front was Green. Was he taken high by Collins? Umpire says he ducked, so getting the footy was Daniel Lloyd, and he was wrapped up quickly.
All over it was the umpire, wasn't he, Justin Power?
Tried the hook arm. Didn't get it.
Dropped the shoulders. He tried it in the first quarter too, didn't get away with it, Toby.
Giants by 8. Stoppage inside 50 for them. Knocked away by Witts. They clear here. Anderson just tumbles it back down the line. Kind bounce here for Flanders. Goes up. Brought to ground by Lockie Ash. The umpire says, give it to me. 8-7 plays 7-5. I said the margin hasn't gone beyond 13 points either way. Ball up. Again slapped away by Witts. Ellis dispossessed. Trying to wait for a clearance here. Daniels goes in hard. Ellis turns tackler on him. Swallow paddles it clear here. Rowell gets away from Ward, although the umpire's going to come back here for a free kick, as it was Ward who was dealt with.
Two strong bulls head over the ball. Ward just had his head down first.
They go forward of halfway. The former skipper goes inside 50, and Josh Kelly pulls a strong overhead grab. 45 out directly in front.
Well, another time Josh Kelly's just getting forward.
Yeah, and he sat there for a few minutes too. They did look dangerous there, Gold Coast, when it was in tight. As soon as that ball comes out, they just look like they're in a bit of trouble. Perriman's on if he wants it.
Continue their ascendancy here in this third term, the Giants. Kelly's kick comes up a little short. Brown there in the pocket controls the grab. Callum Brown, that time again it was Ben Long, I think, his direct opponent, so that's bad news for him, the afternoon he's having. Callum Brown, who kicked one from the same part of the ground, opposite end of the ground though, in the first half, opens up the angle across the body, and he's got a couple. And the Giants are out to a new game high mark of 14 points, 9-7-61, plays Gold Coast 7-5-47. We've now played 10 minutes in this third term on Grandstand AFL here in Canberra.
It's a missed kick from Josh Kelly. He didn't quite hit it for his set shot. Cal Brown was just left one-on-one with Ben Long, always going to be too strong, and a terrific chest mark in the end, but to go back and curl it around, very, very much probably like his upbringing with Gaelic footy, just being able to curl the ball around the corner. We've got the All-Ireland final today, actually, back in Ireland. Poor Cal Brown's team, Derry, lost last week, though, to Kerry.
Who's in the All-Ireland, do you know?
Kerry and Dublin.
That's Tigers mob.
And guess who's back there right now?
I know he's back there now. So
he's carrying on.
See him go back-to-back. They won it last year, didn't they?
Well, back underway here in Canberra, and a good running clearance from Anderson, who sets the Suns forward. Buckley had front position and tapped it down to Himmelberg. Hands back to Taylor, who screws one out of defence. It bounces and favours Cornelio. He gets rid of one with a big palm on the chest. Handballs to Angwin. Missed the target. And it looks like Long was there to wrap up Angwin on the logo on the eastern wing. Briggs and Witts do battle. Witts got rid of Briggs. Umpire says play on. Gets the clearance himself, and again Taylor gets rid of Ben King and takes an intercept mark. Confidence is low for the King. Taylor fans it wide to Himmelberg. 13 touches to half-time, Himmelberg. He's been mopping up across half-back as well. Really short kick in board to Ash. And Himmelberg's going to run past. They're toying with them here. It's in their defensive half, but they're just easily going from side to side. So Iden receives. He gives it to Buckley, who has a bounce. Goes up the line, makes it to front position Green, but it goes past him to Daniels. Handballs wide to Haynes. Kicks it inside 50 to a 2-on-2. Riccardi up, second grab, falls to Angwin. His first goal in AFL, Ryan Angwin. 12 games in, and the crowd knew it. They were happy to see it. It fell over the back of the contest, beautifully crumbed. Ryan Angwin kicks the Giants out to a 20-point lead. It's 10-7-67 to 7-5-47 on Grandstand AFL. Your experts, Jason Saddington and Mark McVeigh.
Well, I just think it was too easy. They're able to switch the ball. At times, you don't need to close on that player that's open. Force him to kick, force the ball down. Now the kick from Buckley missed, I know, but they were able to take the opportunity. But to move it from one side of the ground to the other and then drifts over the back and kick an easy goal, it's poor defensively, and it started off the back again of an intercept mark, and they go to work, and that's what they want to do, and that's why Sam Taylor's so good.
Even Buckley's kick that went over the head of Toby Green, the Gold Coast defenders were caught flat-footed. And it was easy, I think, for Daniels to just run out and gather and then feed off the hands to the runner.
They found the next gear here. The Giants out by 20 points now. Free kick here going the way. It's a block. It'll go the way of the Suns and Matt Rowell. Held by Stephen Cornelio. Rowell goes down the pipe now. Inside attacking 50. Taylor up in front. Strong intercept grab for the Giants.
It's chaos now for them down there. It's not working. They need to change it. They cannot keep kicking that ball long like that.
Short kick to find Perryman. The Shadows coming across that western side of the ground behind us. Perryman's kick high and long beyond defensive 50. Haynes uncontested. Pulls down the grab.
That's 7 marks, Sam Taylor.
Yeah.
Giants by 20. Back in field now for Whitfield, who controls it at right half back.
You want to go corridor.
And he's allowed to. Buckley on the lead.
Yeah, they got the overlap.
Yep.
And they go that way to Himmelberg. He's got Iden if he goes quickly by foot. Doesn't hit Iden exactly, but there's that much space at the moment for the Giants that it doesn't matter. He goes up the line. Riccardi has space, but closing is Collins with the spoil. Taps it across the boundary line and pushes Riccardi as well. I think Collins is getting upset, feeling like maybe he's doing all he can, being let down in other areas.
Well, he is, absolutely. I mean, similar to Taylor down the other end, Collins is the player at this end that's well and truly on top of his opponent in Riccardi.
So 70 out from the Giants' goal. Callum Brown again rucking against Casbolt, who wins it. Down to Ellis. Another rush kick, and Taylor, a big spoil, heading towards the boundary line. Can Oya get there? He does. Keeps it in. No, the umpire says it just went out, or is it? Yeah, it's just gone out on the eastern wing.
We've seen Sam Taylor play some great games of footy, but he's just unbelievable out there, right? Unbelievable. Even his spoiling's just so dominant against the opposition.
So Giants by 20. Back in it comes. Rowell bobbles away from him. He recovers it now on his left peg. Goes towards 50. Ben King, has he paid the mark? Yes, he is. He clunks it 45 out. Slightly right of centre. Does he back himself in is the question. He'd love a goal here. And after 3 weeks of a goal-kicking drought, this is important for both he and the Gold Coast Suns.
That was better. And Sam Taylor standing boundary side for the predictable kick. They take the ball off the line to the open side. Ben King gets an opportunity.
So goalless in his past 3 games, Ben King. On the approach from 50 with a set shot. It's on its way. It's got the carry, but it's tugged away to the near side for a minus score. The Suns are 7-6-48. Giants 10-7, 67. 16 go on third term here on Grandstand AFL via ABC Sport.
Whitfield with the kick out. Iden was spare in the pocket, so he hits him and Iden goes straight back to Whitfield, almost back where it begun. And they wait for the right option. It has been appearing for them, so they can be patient, the Giants, in defensive half. Ash leads up. No, it's Himmelberg who marks. Still deep in their D50. Himmelberg down the line is the safe option. Goes a bit lower to try and give the advantage to Taylor, but King's in the front spot, spills the mark, but the Suns pick it up through Ellis. Misses a handball. Whitfield cleans up for the Giants. He gives it to Kelly. Up the line, his beautiful left foot is not so pretty, and Sam Collins, another intercept mark. He's going to send it straight back in for the Suns. Casbolt and King go up. Ball comes to the front. Whitfield there again picks up the loose footy. Kicks it forward to Angwin, and he kicks it straight back to Collins. What's Collins had? Is that mark number 8? Wow.
The former Docker. This comes to Ellis, across to McPherson, all the way back here to Powell at centre half back. Boundary side to Adam Shelley very shortly as his kick switches to the western side now for Ballard. And Ballard on in turn here finds Hollands in space. He marks 75 from goal. Has options presenting. Holds it for a moment. Now goes long inside 50. Long to the hot spot now where he tries to look for Casbolt, but it's still swatted away by Buckley. Off hands for a throw in at left full forward for the Gold Coast Suns. The Giants lead by 19 points. Set the boundary, Adam Shirley.
Yeah, Jack Lukosha is probably one of the more effective Gold Coast forwards today. He's jogged to the boundary the last minute or so. He's pointing to the outer meniscus or lateral ligament region of his right knee, just toasting it up and down the boundary at the moment, but he's just struggling to get into a full clip.
Wits out of the ruck. Ainsworth, a shot on goal, is smothered. And cleaning up is Iden, who kicks outside 50. Cudman's there. Look, it might be clean. No, he does get a possession in the end. Gives it to Lloyd, but his rush kick up the line is met by Will Powell for the Suns.
Yeah, last couple of rush kicks coming up the wing. The Giants just been easily intercepted from the Suns. Collins had a couple of them, and that time it was long.
Powell goes to Anderson, who kicks to Ballard. On the logo to Andrew. Powell runs past him. Tries to get around one, but Perryman sticks the tackle. Gets the handball. Eventually comes to Flanders, but he's tackled and he misses the target. Haynes, though, who got that ball, missed his. Eventually comes back to Haynes, who kicks a high one. It's gone about 4 metres, but about 40 metres up. Have they paid the mark? They have. So David Swallow, the only man in the Suns to win at Manuka, marks 55 out, goes back to Atkins. On his left, delivers to the hole. Himmelberg's there waiting, so is Taylor. Ball goes to the outer side and Cumming picks up. Goes for a run. Handballs to Whitfield.
And pass back inboard now. Perryman slips the tackle of Oya, and now off half back. It's worked away here to Nick Haynes. Haynes marks it right half back. Good delivery from Isaac Cumming. And here goes Iden. Up the line further still here. Juggled mark attempt here by Ballard. Out to his teammate Atkins. Brought down by Cadman. Umpire says play on. Loose ball. Kelly tracks it towards the line there with Mac Andrew. Andrew can't claim possession. Lloyd off to Bedford. He's spun to ground by Miller. And now Ballard again with Ward for company. Sees it over for a throw-in. So it remains a 19-point game in the Giants' favour. 10-7 plays 7-6. Approaching time on here in the third quarter at a very sunny Monica Oval in Canberra.
I just don't quite understand Gold Coast Suns inside 50 decisions. They just keep going long as...
Brown out of the ruck. Spots up Cadman. Second grab, third grab. Ballard gets a fist in there. Ellis is at the fall of the ball, but he can't pick it up cleanly. Coming with the right foot. Shot at goal, but wayward. Goes out of bounds after a couple of bounces. Sam Collins appeals, but the umpire says no. It was just a poor kick.
They need to just lower their eyes, and I know I keep going on about it, but every time they're going long, they don't even look like getting it. It just rebounds so quick.
Yeah, or they're even trying to pull a cheeky little, still a 40-metre kick, but maybe a bit flatter and lower, but it's still not working.
Out of the ruck, Brown. Ball bounces high. Bedford taps it down to Green. Powell wraps him up, and we'll have another ball up in the forward pocket for the Giants.
They who lead by 19 points as they look to break that 9-game losing streak at this venue. Witts knocks it to the outside. Bedford tackled there by Flanders. From the pocket, Kelly. Central ball high towards the top of the goal square. McAndrew spills a defensive grab. Off the deck, Collins. Dangerous here for Lloyd, who slams boot to ball. But it's through for a minor score only. They extend their lead by 1 point. Back out to 20 points, the Giants' favour.
Powell on kick-out duty, goes to Atkins in the pocket. Uses his trusty left. Fresh off 32 touches, finds Ellis. Running past was Flanders. Gets the hands, and Witts marks on the wing. So this is a good passage of play for the Suns. Flanders runs past him. Collects the footy. Handballs to Ellis. Kick inside 50. Casbolt landed in front of him, but picked up cleanly. He gets it to Lukosius. His kick inboard marked by a diving Jack Buckley. And the Giants stop and settle it down. Buckley to the outer wing, coming there waiting for it, takes an easy chest mark.
So I didn't mind the ball movement then, Spike, just to mark, quickly get hands on, keep it moving. Just need to keep hitting up those short ones like you're calling for.
Coming up the line, 2-on-2, Cadman again competes well against Collins, so he's neutralising that battle. Bedford picks it up, tries a little chip and chase handball over the top of Ballard, but he's wise to it. Eventually it comes inside 50. Green's got a bit of space. Steps inside Andrew. Pirouettes out of one. And Toby Green kicks another. Classy from Green. He's got 3-3 for the day. And the Giants, 11-8, 74 to 7-6, 48. They're skipping out to a big lead now.
Yeah, I think it's trouble signs for me because the Gold Coast Suns, you're exactly right. Their ball movement there was exactly what they need to do. Speed on the ball, running off half-back, lowering your eyes. Execution in the end wasn't particularly great. Lukosius keeps the ball inside the corridor. The Giants just go to work, and Toby Green's too good there. I just feel like this game, they're going to get on top here. They're going to blow out to a really handy lead come three-quarter time if some changes aren't made pretty quickly.
So out to a new game high mark of 26 points. 11-8 plays 7-6. Off the back of Toby Green's third. A win today puts the Giants momentarily at least up into 6th. .23 go on third term. From the restart, Briggs, not only as far as Rowell. Suns with numbers. Flanders involved. Atkins fires a hand pass. Anderson wrapped up by Whitfield. Goes again as Noah Anderson. Delivers inside 50. Spilled by Holman. Pressure comes from Himmelberg. Himmelberg breaks the tackle. Hand pass out in space. Off half back. Daniels shows good pace away from Atkins. Swings his kick back to the commentary wing where he finds the chest of Lloyd.
Lloyd marks and goes in front of Andrew. On his right foot has a running Whitfield. Finds him. Ballard clumsily in his back. You can hear the crowd. They want 50. They don't get it. Ballard does what he needs to do, though, and slows down the play as the Suns flood back. So Whitfield 60 out.
The long kick bores Whitfield.
Goes to a one-on-one. Green in a bit of space. He used his body well. He left the footy to the space. Got rid of Powell. Picks up on the second go. Tries a tricky one. Almost a bit too tricky for Toby Green. So he's got 3 and 2 out on the fulls now. And the score remains 74-48.
Glad you're keeping score. It's hard to sort of keep track of those out on the full. They get a stat for that. Kick in here. It's a little dicey though. It comes from Anderson to Rowell. That Rowell goes high toward the western wing. Sprawl from Briggs on Witts. At the drop, Daniels couldn't get clean possession. Oyer coming the other way. Daniels, his head ripped off down there by Hollands. Free kick advantage paid it was, although will come back. He broke away quickly.
His speed around the ball's really cutting Gold Coast up at the moment. He's just getting and going every single time.
Such an important player for them, Brent Daniels. Himmelberg forward of halfway. He's 65 from goal.
He likes to pull these ones across his body.
Go a barrel as well.
Nurses the ball to the pocket there. Green has a couple of to beat, outnumbered. McAndrew keeps his feet, brought down in the pocket by Lloyd. The umpire will ball up. 25 out from the Giants attacking goal. The Cathedral end, GWS, who leads by 26 points. 26 go on third term.
Witts with the tap to Flanders, who's been their main accumulator today, and another clearance. Holman, good body on Whitfield, but his handball misses. Still on the edge of their defensive 50. McPherson cleans up his mess. Hands to Anderson, then to Powell. So they'll clean it up here. Sorry to Hollands. Back to Flanders. Up the line, perfectly weighted kick to Lukosius, who marks in front of the interchange bench and takes off. Wants to go corridor. One-on-one, Ellis. Bit of body on coming, and it goes over the back of Ellis, who's first there. Oh, he sends a kick in. It's not going to be good for King. It was King v Buckley, and coming across was Sam Taylor. That was not the kick to get King back into the game.
Well, Alice, he just absolutely panicked on the kick, didn't he?
Yep.
Giants by 26. Most of the ground full. It only holds about 12,000 or so here at Monica, but it's always a good atmosphere as well when the grandstands on the hill on the outer side are full, and in front of that hill is where Anderson takes a mark, Lukosius in fact takes a mark for the Suns. Goes to half forward, marked by Rowell. Rowell 65 from goal. Pops it inside attacking 50, leading up Lukosius in the contest down there with Whitfield. Loose ball, Lukosius dives in again. Anderson in concert with him brings the ball carrier Lockie Ash to ground. Will ball up 45 out from attacking goal at the pool end for the Gold Coast Suns. 26 points is the Giants' lead. Witts waste no time. Down to Flanders. Kicks through traffic. Screws it there for King. Drops the mark. Under pressure it was again, this time from Buckley. Iden lays the tackle down there on Holman. The umpire will ball up again.
Well, it's just hard to find avenue to goal for Gold Coast. Their ball movement going in, they don't know what to do with it. They're short to covered options. They're long to covered options.
Hollands gets it from the stoppage. Hands to Anderson. He gives it to Miller. His shot on goal is across the face and through for a behind. So the Suns a minor score, 7-6-48. They trail by 25 points now. 7-7-49 plays 11-8-74.
Himmelberg, the kick out. How important a piece of the puzzle is he, Spike, for the Giants? Still off contract?
Oh, huge, to be honest. A lot of players out there. A lot of teams out there wanting Harry Himmelberg's signature, so they've got a bit of a job, and the longer it goes, the more unlikely it looks, doesn't it?
Hollands wins a free kick on the wing. Hand pass off to McAndrew. Delivers inside 50. Wants to find Hollands. Haynes hit the deck. Mopped up though by the Giants with numbers in defence. Kelly underground, a hand pass to Cornelio. Works over the top now for Whitfield. Off to Haynes running by. And in some space again, Lockie Ash. Out here to Lloyd. Gets his kick away just in time from Anderson closing him down. Goes high towards half forward. Green this time beaten through the air by Powell, who spoils it out of bounds for a throw-in. 55 around from the Giants. Attacking goal in the bright sunshine here at Monica. 11-8-74 is their score. The Gold Coast Suns are 7-7-49. 28.5 gone third term.
Ball spun back in. Briggs and Witts. Briggs, it almost fell into his lap just there. The umpire says there was a hold against him though. Witts held front position well, so he's got the free kick. Hands off to Flanders for his touch number 26, and it's as if he meant to kick it to Whitfield.
It's a horrible handball from the ruckman. He handballs it to the boundary side where all the defenders are. It's
Flanders
not good enough.
Flanders' right foot was not good, and it was up against the boundary line, and Whitfield took the intercept mark, and they slow the play down, the Giants. In red time here in the third quarter, Lockie Ash marks, and he's just going to kick it back to Whitfield. A few stat boosters there for Whitfield, who gets to 22. And he's next to the interchange bench. A long kick. Briggs is late to the contest here, but he makes late ground on Witts and spoils it over the line. Knew he wasn't a chance to mark, but did well to neutralise that one.
It just looks easy and comfortable for the Giants at the moment when they've got the footy, isn't it? They can go fast and link up, or even when they go in slow, they just wait and find easy options.
Back in it comes. Briggs over the back in a Lockie Ash. Breaks the tackle of Witts. Hand pass back to Ward. Ward spun away by Rowell. Got a hand pass away though. Holman dives in. So too does Whitfield. Equal to the task, and the umpire will ball up. That's Ray Chamberlain out there with Justin Power, Nathan Toner and Paul Rebashini. Our officials in green today.
Daniels comes up to this contest as a small forward.
Giants by 25. Laid out in the path of Cornelio by Briggs. Whitfield off to Ward. Boundary side they come again. Kelly in the shadows of the western grandstand. Bradman stand goes high inside, attacking 50. Down there Riccardi. Spoil from Collins in the corridor. Overrun this time by Ainsworth. Collins goes to ground. Hand pass from Cabin. Daniels. Sharks at the footy. Slips one tackle. Hand pass back to Bevan, who can snap from 40 out. What about that? Right on the three-quarter time siren. More class from Greater Western Sydney. There was Daniels and others in the build-up as well, but Tubby Bedford finished off with a goal right on the siren for the final change to extend a Giants lead out to 31. 12-8-80 to 7-7-49. Goal kickers for the home side. Toby Green has 3 goals, 3 and 2 out of the 4, as Declan Byrne mentioned. A couple to Brent Daniels and a goal assist there as well from Brent Daniels and Callum Brown. In fact, Daniels has 6 score involvements to three-quarter time as well, which is a great stat for him. Singles to Daniel Lloyd and Ryan Angwin, his first goal in AFL footy. Josh Kelly, Bedford, of course, on the board just then, and Isaac Cumming as well. Goal kickers for the Giants so far, while for the Gold Coast Suns, Ainsworth and Lukosius each have 2. Singles to Casbolt, Hollins and Huwago Oya. Three-quarter time here at Manuka Oval. It's the Giants 12-8-80 to the Gold Coast Suns at 7-7-49. Wherever you are across ABC Radio, News Radio and via the ABC Listen app, you're listening to Grandstand AFL.
Mr. Dulac, how long have you been dead?
2 immortal classics from Anne Rice.
I offer my life story.
The newsreaders Sam Reed and Jacob Anderson from Game of Thrones in The Interview with the Vampire.
I can swap this life of shame, swap it out for a dog gift.
And Alexandra Daddario from White Lotus in Mayfair Witches.
You don't know what I'm capable of.
Stream all the episodes now on ABC iView.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Ward has a few steps on his right, kicks it as long as he can. Big lead from Riccardi, but a spoil at the back from Powell. Front of the contest was Kelly on his left. Silky smooth start for the Giants, and that's what you get with Josh Kelly.
Holman there gathers for the Suns. Hand pass off to Flanders. Into script towards the flank now. It's knocked away by Iden into the lap of Huwago Oya. Comes back into the corridor for Casbolt, who leads out to the pocket. Here he is with a drop punt from deep in that right forward pocket. That's how they do it. That's how you should do it. King drops it again on the other side here. Now Whitfield on a loose ball. Evades the tackle, goes towards half forward, off to Angwin. Running by here is Daniels with a finish from 45, Brent Daniels. What about that for the Giants?
I think they've got to make the move with Ben King. I know we keep talking about it. He's just dropped a sitter there. Off the back of that, they go to work the Giants and kick a goal. They've got to change up. They've got to have a good word to him. What can they do to help him out?
Iden receives. He gives it to Buckley, who has a bounce. Goes up the line, makes it to front position Green, but it goes past him to Daniels. Handball's wide to Haynes. Kicks it inside 50 to a 2-on-2. Riccardi up, second grab, falls to Angwin. His first goal in AFL, Ryan Angwin. Bedford picks it up, tries a little chip and chase handball over the top of Ballard, but he's wise to it. Eventually it comes inside 50. Green's got a bit of space, steps inside Andrew, pirouettes out of one, and Toby Green kicks another.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital,
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Three-quarter time at Manuka Oval in Canberra for the first of your Sunday games in AFL Round 19. Melbourne Adelaide getting underway shortly at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, and later on St Kilda v North Melbourne to bring the curtain down on Round 19. In the meantime, it's the Giants by 31 points against the Gold Coast Suns here in Canberra. Your experts are Mark McVeigh and Jason Saddington.
Well, it seemed to be a pretty comfortable quarter for the Giants. You know, the longer it went, the easier the ball movement kind of got for them. And we mentioned it towards the end of that quarter. If they were able to run and move it and get their hands through, they were getting it through quite clean. But even when they were held up, they were able to take their time and just wait for the option, chip it around, be patient. Even if they're under a little bit of pressure, they're able to find a release kick and set up and go again. So the ball movement became quite easy for the Giants, and obviously going forward, you know, you get Toby Green in one-on-ones and he's going to win those contests. You know, Cal Brown found himself one-on-one and kicked a lovely snap goal. The other player who we mentioned, and Spike, I know you've been loving his game, was Brent Daniels. His speed in that front half, that quarter, caused some real dangerous times for Gold Coast, and he had huge impact. And still down back, you know, Sam Taylor maintains the rage on Ben King, and absolutely dominant again with some of his marking and spoiling down back. But a comfortable quarter for the Giants, for them to actually transition the ball up the field and break themselves out to a nice little probably 31-point lead at three-quarter time. Gold Coast just really struggling with their ball movement still, especially going inside 50.
Well, Brett Daniels is arguably, he is one of the Giants' most important players. There's no doubt about that. We know Toby Green, their captain, is, but when he hasn't been there, they really lack some pressure and chase pressure. Yep. Now that he's there, along with the signing of Bedford, has really enabled them to have speed when it goes inside 50 to obviously extend the ground, but also when the opposition win it, they put serious heat on the ball carrier. So he's very, very important. The Gold Coast, I think, two different clubs at two different stages of their cycle, if you like. The Giants are doing wonderful things, well coached. You can see there's a clear plan. Their list is healthy now. We spoke about Hogan being out. Gold Coast Suns, for me, it looks a little dangerous in the next 5 to 6 weeks about really bottoming out. Now, that's not their fault. They've obviously lost their coach. And this is a difficult time for their footy club and for the coaches that are there now and the players, because they need to find a reason and a want to play really good footy. And I just thought in that third quarter they looked lethargic. They played without a plan. Their main goal scorer, or their main targeting King, just looks nowhere. And he's playing on probably the best centre-half back in the game right now. So they've got a long way to go.
I think there's some sub-movement downstairs for the Gold Coast Suns. Down to Adam Shirley very shortly as the fourth term is underway. Work to do for the Gold Coast Suns to claw their way back from 5 goals down. Swallow, dispossess. Good run this from Kelly. Off here to Perryman. Slingshot is from right half back toward the eastern wing. Up goes Callum Brown in the contest there with Ballard. And out there is Jai Farah. So the sub having been made with, I believe, Adam Shirley, the Papua New Guinean, off the ground.
Uaga Oea has come off at three-quarter time. And yes, Jai Farah activated, starting in the half-forward line for this fourth quarter.
Okay, there you go. The first sub of the game having been made, and still no movement, Josh Fahey.
He actually had a bit of impact in the game too. I thought Humphrey, he's been pretty quiet, like Humphrey is. He could have been the sub.
Jeez, you've been wanting to say that the whole game.
31 points. By the way, just coming back to that in a second, as they work it up the outer side. And they go through Atkins towards half-forward mark by Himmelberg at half-back. He was subbed out, I think, Uaga Oea against the Pies a couple of weeks ago. He kicked their only goal and a half, and he was subbed out, which I thought was a bit stiff. Anyway, the Giants go forward of halfway toward the pool end. Out the back, McPherson shares it with Anderson. Needs a bit more space here as he's run down from behind. It was a great chase from Toby Green. It's intercepted here. His kick goes straight to Riccardi. So the kick from Anderson, a turnover. McPherson, a turnover, and it goes straight to Riccardi, who marks 35 out directly in front.
Has all the hallmarks of turning out to be a bad day for the Suns here. Could really drop out.
Well, there was Anderson, of course, who had that kick. Riccardi, here is his first real opportunity today, and he makes no mistake. They get the first goal of the final term. It's Jake Riccardi's first of the afternoon. And the margin is out to 37 points. 13-8-86 to 7-7-49 in the opening stages of this fourth term on Grandstand AFL.
Yeah, and you're spot on, Spike. It started to look a bit shaky towards the end of that quarter. A few fumbles, some some missed kicks. Started to lose their way a little bit. The Suns, and even then, Anderson he was under a little bit of pressure, but nothing to suggest just a little dinky 20-metre kick off the boot to Jake Riccardi to get a nice easy goal. They need to knuckle down, that's for sure, and they need to show some fight and try and set up what they are going to bring home for the last part of the season.
Giants just sitting under that 100% percentage-wise as well, so they'd be looking at this to jump up over 100 and immerse themselves in that top 8.
Well, it does become important, doesn't it?
It does.
Finn Callahan does well to read Witts. Goes back to Ash, to a running Whitfield now, who goes inside 50 and all on his own. Brent Daniels marks. He'll kick for goal 45 metres. Mark McVeigh said it has the hallmarks of getting ugly, and they might have 2 goals within the first 3 or 4 minutes here, the Giants.
With plenty of space too.
Yeah, look, I'll keep saying it. Look, the game looks to be done, let's be honest. It's going to be a tough road to win from here. What can you do with Ben King? I keep asking the question. Can you put him behind the ball? Can you get him going?
Brent Daniels from right in front, hooks it across the face for a minor. 13-9-87, plays 7-7-49.
Where would you put him then, Spike? Where would you?
I'd put him to centre half back. Yep, I'd put him to centre half back and see if he can. And that's without knowing what the coaches know. They know him best, so it's easy from here.
Powell beyond defensive 50. Up goes King, top of the pack. Couldn't pull in the mark. Hand pass, Angwin off to Cumming. Works his kick up the boundary line. Keeps it alive here. This sort of hold its way around the boundary line is run out of bounds by Sam Collins. So a stoppage deep in attack here for the Giants again, who lead by 38 points.
They conned everyone. Everyone stopped. Even the umpire was ready to blow his whistle, and he was getting in the movement for deliberate, but it stayed in.
And the wide pockets of Manuka Oval. Similar dimensions to the MCG. Back in it comes. McPherson off to Anderson. Breaks clear of the pack here for the Suns.
Nice.
Heading towards half-back is Lukosius. Controls it for a second here for the Gold Coast Suns. Toward the outer side. Haynes goes up. It was the bigger body in the contest with Ainsworth. Ainsworth works it back by hand to Powell and slows things down here to Lukosius, middle of the park.
He's a couple of kicks from goal. Lukosius asks for a couple of players to come to him. One of them is Miller, who second grab can't get it. Casbolt's there to help. Buckley, though, again on his hammer and drives him into the deck. All up inside the attacking 50.
Your mate, Paul Ben King, he was one-on-one with Lockie Whitfield, and they went the other way.
Yep.
So can the Suns get one back? Witts taps it down. Lloyd with the clearance. Up the line, Riccardi one-on-one with Ballard. Ballard gets hands to it, but spills it. Coming to help was Powell. He was held, and the umpire pays the free kick to Powell.
Do it.
Bedford was away. On the logo, Powell spots up Anderson. Had a good third quarter there. 9 touches for Anderson. He's on the logo still. The Suns working it methodically. Anderson finds his partner Rowell, and he gets to Swallow.
Yeah, I just don't think Anderson's kicked the ball very well today, and I reckon that's what's hurt him.
It is Dave Swallow, who's turned the kick over here towards Lockie Ash in the right back pocket. Using the corridor. Off to Finn Callahan, lays it off by hand to Lockie Ash. Ash can rebound now, kicking with a bit of distance here toward the western side. A little too deep it was for Angwin out the back, though, as Isaac Cumming runs onto the loose footy here. Just tries to tumble it towards 50. On the bounce for Toby Green. Kicks it across his body as he feeds Callum Brown, getting back in the hole. And controls it in the second bite. The Irishman will take a set shot from 30 out, slightly left of centre.
It's for his third?
Yes.
I think he kicked 4 goals last year in the rain against Hawthorn, so you never know where this young fellow will land. He's got the speed, he's got the strength, he's got the power, and he's starting to learn his craft.
I've liked the forward ruck.
Yeah,
thing today we've seen might be where they go.
He's got that vertical leap as well. There's a neat kick of the footy, Callum Brown. 2 goals so far today. This for number 3. And he brings it back in the breeze, but not enough. It started right and stayed there. 39 points is the GWS lead here. 7-goal and final term.
Atkins wastes no time and delivers to Ellis as they go out the eastern side. Although Ellis pulls the trigger down the middle and Collins is there, marking it in the centre of the ground. Miller runs past, gets the hands. He goes long. Good position for Casbolt, who tried to ride Taylor. Did well to bring it to ground. Casbolt's second go at it. Waiting there is Farah, the sub. Shirks one tackle. Gives it to Holman in the forward pocket. No one there. He can't go for goal, so he goes back to Ainsworth. The hands were good. He trips over, though. Gives it to Farah. It's really untidy in there. The Giants wrap up Farah in that forward pocket, and we'll have a ball up. Buckley, the tackler.
Oh. Ainsworth's been shoved by Perryman. Umpire didn't see it.
No, Razor Ray did.
Ball in the air. As Iden goes to ground, wrapped up by Rail, the umpire says, give it to me.
Oh, he's going to pay something now. Here we go.
Yep. So he paid the second action, which is always going to be the case. Ainsworth's got thrown to the ground. He comes up and remonstrates with Perryman, does the wrong thing, and Giants get the free kick.
Perryman, his 100th AFL game, which will be a win for the Giants. As we tick down here in the final term, short chip across to Sam Taylor, and now Iden marks at left half back.
So Iden goes quickly to Callahan. He handballs to Himmelberg, who's under pressure, but Buckley was up the line for him. Steps around Powell. Buckley on his right foot. Out of bounds it'll be. And it was a good tackle from Powell, who then gave Buckley a little shove. So they've still got some fight, the Suns, and it was a good tackle from Powell, putting Buckley under pressure. Ballard with the kick in, finds Anderson. And they'll attempt the switch here. Anderson kicks it to Atkins, but it's slow.
Yeah.
No players on the outer wing for them. So Atkins is going to go down the middle. Swallow and Holman there for the Suns, but sweeping across was Buckley. Cleaning up his mistake with an intercept mark and goes to Kelly, who swings it wide to Angwin against Andrew. Andrew and Angwin again. Ellis comes over to help out. Provides the +1, but Angwin, beautiful tackle. Ball spills to Haynes. He gives hands to Ward. They're 80 out from goal. And Ward honours the lead of Toby Green, who marks on the 50.
Sharp lead from Toby. He read it well. He saw as soon as his Giants teammate won the footy, he was ready to dart straight up at the footy. And he got the jump on his opponent.
Again, the Gold Coast Suns just blazing away through the middle of the ground with no method, no structure.
Toby Green in the bright Canberra sunshine for his 4th goal today from 55 metres. Unloads. It is long and it hits the post. So he's kicked 3-4. I don't want to keep saying it, but a couple out in the fulls. It could have been a huge day for Toby.
It's been big enough as it is. That's what the Giants will win.
I think he'll get a few more shots on goal yet.
Atkins to kick out here. Short chip to his co-captain, Tuke Miller. Out to Anderson between fullback and centre half back.
Definitely keen to keep taking corridor, aren't they?
Yep. Which I understand too.
Anderson gets a shepherd from Atkins on Angwin. Goes down the corridor now here. Flanders back to Miller by hand as well. Looks for options by foot. Goes again long and direct to the top of the square. Up there was Jai Farah. Slaps it away here. Try to keep it alive on the behind line. Only as far as Connor Iden. Iden gets there for the Giants. She has a kick to Ward and the Giants are away again.
Ward hands off to Ash, who gives it back to Ward. The man who's played the most footy of anyone in the AFL at Manuka Oval. And the most wins. Will be happy to break this streak this afternoon. He gives it to Briggs. Briggs' first handball was messy to Ash, so he gets it back from Ash. This time Briggs goes long. Good position for Riccardi. Ball comes over the back. Andrew cleans up. Left foot out of congestion, finds Ellis. And again they look to go corridor. So Ellis spots up Anderson.
That's better.
And there's space for Ben King to mark. He's in the centre circle. He goes long, again down the corridor. Jai Farah there, but Taylor across with the intercept. Ended up spoiling it, coming on his right foot. You can hear the groans of the crowd. He wanted to bend it back. Out on the full it is. So Suns with possession in front of the interchange bench.
It's a tough ask. Come on as the sub.
Oh, snatched away here by Cornelio. Untidy kick in. Picked off by Cornelio. Goes high inside forward. 50 and finds Riccardi.
That's just...
Defenders love that, don't they?
And it's just the team that they've obviously been told go to corridor as much as you can, which I would have liked to have seen earlier in the game, not be so safe. And that's just a poor execution and a gift for Riccardi.
It was Nick Holman, the clanger. His kick as bad as his hairdo. Sorry, mullet fans.
front of their dad.
40 points.
Just lost your young audience.
Riccardi, that's true. Riccardi with a beautiful set shot, this from the pocket, to add further punishment to the Gold Coast Suns off the back of the error. Out to a 46-point break now, Greater Western Sydney, 14-11-95 to 7-7-49. And by the way, this will be the equal best winning streak in Giants club history. So 6 games makes it their equal best, going back to 2016, which was their best effort between round 4 and 9 of that year. So historically speaking, it's going to be a nice achievement for them, and they'll go inside the 8 for the first time since round 1.
There's some big wins in that streak too. Melbourne.
Well, it's an incredible...
Adelaide.
It's a great effort. I mean, if you would have asked me at the start of the year, can they play finals, my answer was always yes, because I think their list tells you that they can.
It's healthy, yep.
If it's healthy. And their coach has come in and done a wonderful job. He's changed the way he wants them to play. It's exciting, it's exuberant, they've got good health, and they're right where they should be.
Casbolt in the ruck, taps it down to Humphrey. He's only had 3 touches today, the Rising Star nominee, and he's dispossessed here. So Callaghan gets it, handballs forward to Cornelio. Humphrey hassling him, but Cornelio's too good. Gets hands to Ward, goes back to Haynes. Delivers down the wing, and Bedford marks on forward flank for the Giants. About 60 out from his attacking goal. They love Bedford this year, providing that pressure. Kicks it inside to the pocket, and Mac Andrew backing back. Very good intercept mark in front of a leading Cadman.
So, hooks it across here. And the defensive 50. Long. Short kick from Ben Long. Off to Will Powell at centre-half back. Margin 46 points the Giants' way. Powell's been among their best, but certainly busy as far as the defence goes, as you'd expect in a game such as this one. Ballard back to Mac Andrew. From centre-half back. Slews the kick through the bullseye now. Missed Holman. Buckley for the Giants gets there. Tackled. Hand pass off to Bedford. He's hits the deck as well. Off to Himmelberg. Back to the loose man Callaghan. Fires the hand pass through for Cornelio. He's 45 and goal side. Closes with the finish. Stephen Cornelio joins the party for Greater Western Sydney. It's his first goal of the afternoon. All of a sudden it's 52 points the way of the Orange. 15-11-101 to 7-7-49 here at Manuka Oval. And we've played now 15 minutes in this final term on Grandstand AFL.
He's been remarkable this year, Cogs. I mean, even today's game, we probably haven't mentioned him very much at all, but he's up to his 27 touches. He's kicked his first goal. He's always hitting the scoreboard. 11 score involvements, 4 clearances, couple of he's had another massive game. He's just maintaining this unbelievable level of consistency.
Adam Shirley on the boundary.
Looks like a tactical sub for the Giants. Toby Green off to the applause of the crowd on the wing, and he's put the jacket on immediately. Josh Fay, the local Canberra fellow, Queanbeyan to be exact, on for his first run.
In the long sleeves too. You think the Canberran would be the most acclimatised to the cooler conditions?
Yeah. He's got sausage arms. He needs to cover them up.
I'd be interested. I mean, the physios are talking to Toby whether he's had that ankle's been just grumbling along and they take him off a little bit earlier.
Suns winning out of the middle. Humphrey gives it to Flanders, who finds Lukosius. Marks inside 50 on a 45-degree angle. He's 45 metres out from goal. Lukosius, a couple today.
I reckon Fay's got a couple of goals in him late here. A big left foot in front of the hometown. He'll run past for a handball. We can kick him.
He kicked the sealer last week.
Yep, so look for him to kick a few.
Lukosius in a purple patch at the moment to get his third for today. Ambles in. It's so easy for him to get the distance. Swings it in. It started at the right goalpost and ended up over the umpire's head. So the Suns kick their first goal in a little while and cut the margin. It's GWS 15-11-101. The Suns 8-7-55 on Grandstand AFL.
It's their second goal since half-time.
Yep.
And they just haven't looked likely with their ball movement. They just... they haven't found any space going forward. The kicks going inside haven't been to the advantage of opponents too often. They've mixed up the way they've tried to send it in, but none of it's worked. Lukosius is, to give him credit, it's probably the only one that's really looked likely to hit the scoreboard. And I mean, he's kicked 3 now, but the other 4, King and Casbolt, and they haven't really had any impact whatsoever.
By the way, underway at the MCG, where Melbourne 117 leads Adelaide yet to score. That game available with a full call on the ABC Listen app. The AFL main button. Back down it comes here. Clearance goes the way of the Suns. Anderson works it away here. It's through hands. Holman to Farah. Gets rid of Cumming, and Ward goes high towards the pocket. Just fisted away by Sam Taylor into about row 3 or 4.
We don't have the stat for spoils, but I reckon 10 plus.
For me, he's best man on the ground.
Yep.
46 points is the Giants' lead here.
Massive influence on the game.
Brown and Witts toe-to-toe. Witts with the tap, but Bedford was first there. Hands it off to Iden. He was well tackled. Ball came loose. Farah, the tackle, picked it up. Gives it to Swallow. Hands it off to Hollins. Across the face, it's going to fall short, and a good spoil through from Whitfield. Just the 11 games this year for Sam Taylor. He's missed a few. He's almost that good he could be an All-Australian.
That's what I was going to ask you guys. Is his chance to go back-to-back in the All-Australian team?
Yeah, if he continues this form through the last...
I think he's right there.
5 rounds, absolutely.
Whitfield beyond defensive 50. Cummings spills it over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Just a quick story. When Sam Taylor first arrived at the Giants, we said, go down and play on Toby Green in an interim. And Toby Green whacked him, and he whacked Toby Green back, and we thought, hello, what do we got here?
That's something
and, he's just grown more and more.
Sam Taylor, the lad from WA. Back in it comes. Down to Cumming, who can clear with a kick toward the outer side. Down the throat of Sam Collins for the Suns, who marks on the outer wing.
Another Sun who can hold his head high today. Sam Collins goes long, and another big spoil. Himmelberg probably could have marked. Spoiled instead and gets the footy back as it hits the deck. But a smother on the outer wing from Powell. And the ball goes out of bounds in neutral territory.
I just love the way the Giants are spoiling at the moment. It's that big aggressive spoil which clears the area. When you talk about teams getting their long down the line method right, you can get that right, but when you spoil, it just clears it.
Absolutely.
And it just helps you out.
Briggs just gets rid of Witts easily. Grabs the footy, gives it to Kelly, who kicks it inside 50. Cullen Brown was double teamed, and the ball is fisted over the boundary line by McPherson.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned Taylor's done it quite a few times. Himmelberg as well, hasn't he? He's just spoiled with serious aggression. There's big intent. It also makes a statement, up against your key forwards if you're spoiling the ball away like that every time.
Crowd has cracked 10,000, so 10,026 today's attendance. Stoppage inside of 50. Hand pass comes from Cornelio to Bedford from the pocket. It's across the face for a minor score. 15-12, 102 the Giants. Gold Coast 8-8, 56 have just about doubled their score. 46 points is the margin.
Right now, if from round 11, the Giants, if the season started at round 11, the Giants sit second on the ladder. That's how good they're going at the moment. So they're going to have some serious games in the next few weeks.
And there'll be 6 at the end of this game at least. Will Powell finds McPherson. They escape wide. Flanders did well to evade the tackle of Cornelio. It's not easy to do. Handball's up the line. Lukosius is there. Second go, gets it, controls it, and steps round Himmelberg. Silky stuff from Lukosius, then hits Witts up. Juggles the mark. Witts stands still. Uses his left to Holman. He goes inside 50. Swallow marks right on the paint. Maybe a bit beyond him, so he's going to go to the hot spot. From the back, Farah spills the mark. Angwin was tracking back. Hollins jumped on him straight away, so we'll have a ball up 25 metres out from the Suns' attacking end.
Ball in the air. Briggs slaps it to the outside. Took Miller first pair of hands to it. Hand pass was chopped off by Callaghan into the path of Angwin. The Giants can clear now. Spiralling ball beyond defensive 50. Ballard tries the one-hander. Powell was taken high by Cadman. Free kick for Gold Coast. Just forward of halfway. Ooh, retaliatory shove there on Cadman as well. He looks at the umpire. Alas, it'll stay with Will Powell. It's all in consolation here for the Suns, who trail by 46 points as Powell's kick goes high inside 50 again. From the back, Taylor. What a clean mark. Pushed off the kick down there was Dave Swallow. Now again they pile in from all angles. Holland's dispossessed. Whitfield tries to soccer. Rowell extracts it. Hurried snap here. Wobbles through the air, and Faye can just thump it through for a minor score. Margin 45 the Giants' way.
He looks like he's having a ball out there, Sam Taylor. He's flying for marks at the back, nearly clunking him, then he's diving for a smother straight after. It's quite incredible.
How have you, question without notice, how have you viewed Witts and Briggs' contest today? Who do you think's sort of won that battle? I'll probably answer it after this play.
Lockie Ash leaves the goal square and has a bounce up the line to Ward, who knew he wasn't going to get there. Ellis was there for the Suns, so Ward spoiled instead, and it went over the boundary line.
I'd give it to Briggs. Spike. I just think, I thought coming into it, Witts would have the advantage in terms of the strength and be able to get his hands and set up his midfielders around the contest, but Briggs has completely matched him in that. And like we've spoken about, his follow-up work's been great. He's won more ball around the ground. I think Briggs has definitely been on top.
Ball comes out of the contest to Ward, who goes back to Callaghan. He spots up Iden. They're going to run through the middle of the ground here with Kelly. Gets around Farah. Handball in front of Daniels, but Lukosius was wide to it. So he goes inside 50 to Miller. Oh, coming back was Ward. That was spectacular. Well read by Ward. Everyone was running forward, and he came back to save the day. And the Giants exit out the far wing. Josh Fahey gets his first touch of the day. The sub is on, the Queanbeyan local. Kicks it inside 50. It goes over the back of the contest to Cadman. He has a left foot shot on goal. It'll fall short. Ballard takes the mark in defensive 50 for the Suns.
Cadman still plays like an under 18, doesn't he? He's still playing in the Coates League. He's taking his time to work through his craft, understand what it is like to play at this level.
Free kick to Atkins inside defensive 50. Goes to that eastern wing. And a bit of space there for Flanders. Racks up touch number 30 and a big collision. Brave stuff from the youngster Humphrey, who backed back, and Sam Taylor came through, collected the footy, spoiled it over the boundary line, and Humphrey gets up. So he's all okay, the round 6 Rising Star nominee. We're on the eastern wing. Ball in neutral territory. Spun back in. Briggs pushes Witts over and gets the footy. Runs past him. Says thank you. Gets the clearance to Fahey. He's tackled as he got rid of it. Well done by Long. Ball comes to Ellis, who dives in at the knees of Kelly. Umpire says it was okay. Ball comes to Rowell. Eventually the umpire's paid a free kick. I think it's going the way of Flanders.
Giants holding the ball.
Holding the footy. So Rowell standing the mark. Flanders and Callaghan collided, but Josh Kelly is the one who'll get the free kick from just outside 50. He kicked a goal with a wet footy a couple of weeks ago in Melbourne. This one he's going to go to the hot spot. Waiting there, big spoil from Farah. Ball comes to ground to Bedford. Hands off, and Cadman. Touched. Oh, Cadman thought he had the goal, but a behind for the Giants. They extend their lead to 45 points.
Not long left. We'll get some reaction from downstairs. They're going to check this, by the way, in the arc, are they? Just to make sure. The goal umpire was pretty certain. He signalled straight away that it was touched. They're going to check this with the goal review, score review.
Well, they're often hard to tell, aren't they?
I reckon in one's
pretty clear
case. Mac Andrew gets there with a fingertip or two.
I wonder if the goal umpire ever says to the fielder, come on, mate, I called it. Back me in, will you?
Is there a certain...
We have to look at this. Who calls for it?
The field umpire, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't trust the goal umpire.
Well, that's it. So back me in.
Is there a quota of score reviews they have to have in a game, just to make sure we get one out of the way before full time? 46 points is the Giants lead, as you heard there from Declan Byrne. Up the corridor they come. The kick out to McPherson. Lays off a hand pass to Tuke Miller. He's had this is his 19th touch today. Handball comes back to Ballard. Standing start to find Ellis on the outer wing of Monaco Oval. The former Tiger on a couple of flags. Goes high towards left. Huffle. Taylor floats up in front. And leave the back at the back though. It leaves Hollins. Hand pass off to Holman, the ex-blue. Back to Hollins again. Works his way in from the pocket with a snap on the run and a classy finish. It's all in consolation here for the Gold Coast Suns. But Elijah Hollins, who's fighting his way back in the side. He played the first 4 games of the year. He only came back in last week. He's been out of favour selection-wise with a nice goal at the end of this game to cut the margin back to 40 points.
Yeah, it's just the little things in the game that you look at the confidence, and the Suns are very low. I mean, they take a mark there. You know the man on the mark rule. They have to stand their handball and the ball backwards, which then allows the play on. man the mark, he can just get involved. They're just, even those little things to expose the opposition, they're just not doing it at the level they should.
His second goal, by the way, Elijah Hollins. Adam Shirley on the boundary. Was he going to the rooms? Sorry, I think he was just telling us he's going to the rooms to get some interview after the game. So, 40 points it is, the Giants lead here with just a couple of minutes left.
So Hollins with the goal, the consolation. Briggs, his kick smothered in the middle. Eventually it heads towards their goal, but Atkins is first there for the Suns. Jinks left and right and gets around Bedford. Handballs into Flanders. He goes to Witts by hand, and Atkins has it again. A running McPherson streams past him, gets the footy and goes to Ellis by foot. Marks on the wing, wasting no time. Why would they? There's nothing much to play for except consolation goals right now. And, well, they're playing for Sam Taylor. They've kicked it directly to him again to boost his stats. And he is having another incredible game. Intercept marking left, right and centre for the Giants. And goes back to Lockie Ash, who finds Perryman, gives the handball to Himmelberg. They've combined for over 30 marks. Himmelberg, Iden and Taylor. This kick from Himmelberg's not great. Ellis intercepts. The hands come to Humphrey, but Himmelberg does a 1%er, smothers the footy, comes back to Humphrey. Could have gone wide, but comes inboard to Hollins. His hands over his head, finds Ainsworth from 50 metres. Lukosha second behind, but front spot for Buckley. Another relieving mark for the Giants.
You just touched on that too. Their backline is a backline that can really build towards a premiership. There's no doubt about that. They're great age demographic. Yep. Players that can play on talls and smalls, great speed. Probably arguably their foot skills at times are questions as a back line, but I reckon they've fixed it up with Whitfield, Ash going back there and then Fake and Pinch through there as well. So their back line is really nicely settled, and Harry Himmelberg probably playing back in the second half of the year has helped.
I think the other big thing about their backs today is every time they have lost a contest, which hasn't been often, they've been really dirty.
Yeah.
Really dirty on themselves for losing their contest.
McCarty gave a little knee into the back of his opponent, so it's going to be a free kick going the Suns' way.
But you bang on, Spike, and that's why I reckon Himmelberg's signature is so important.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, one, he's a great intercept defender, he's a great spoiler, he can play key, but he's also his ball use is elite out of that back half.
So Jai Farah with the free kick on the wing. The play on isn't called, so Riccardi doesn't move and he kicks it very long. King nearly marks. Good late spoil. Cornelio at the front. Handballs to Ward, puts him under pressure, and Holman obliges. Great tackle from Holman on Ward. Bit of a hospital pass there. The ribs exposed. Can't be a fun feeling for Ward, and Holman, well, he was kind enough not to really bruise him. The ball's thrown up just outside the Suns' 50. Witts with the tap, but Perryman sharks it. Outside of his boot, Bedford goes the one hand, drops the mark. McPherson cleans up. Handballs to Farah. He's well tackled by Lloyd, and his kick goes about 3 metres. So the Giants again intercept. Haynes has it. Handball forward to Ash. Farah knocks his handball out of play, and McPherson makes sure it's out of bounds in front of the interchange bench.
The shadows now of the Bradman stand where we're positioned here at Manuka Oval. The sun setting behind us.
Actually, the other interesting thing about the chat with the backline, Spike, is it's going to force Nick Haynes up onto the wing a little bit too.
Which isn't a bad move.
Here is Haynes. Tries to get possession now. Off here to Kelly. Fires the hand pass back into the guts. Farah for the Suns. Dispossessed on the full-time siren. The sleeping Giants have awoken for a 6th straight win. They overcome their Canberra hoodoo and they go back into the top 8 for the first time since round 1. Winners here by 40 points.
Well, there's a big, big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty Giants. You feel the ground is shaking. The other teams are quaking in their boots before the Giants. We take the longest strides and the highest leap. We're stronger than the rest. We're the greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best. And we will never surrender. We'll fight until the end. We're greater than the rest.
The Giants, 3 goals, 4 for Toby Green. He was subbed out late for a spell. Brent Daniels Callum Brown and Jake Riccardi all with 2 singles to Lloyd, Bedford, and win his first goal, Kelly, Canelio and Cumming. Meanwhile, for the Gold Coast Suns, Lukosius finished with 3 in the end. 2 goals each for Ainsworth and Hollins, singles for Casbolt and Oyer, who was also subbed at three-quarter time for the Gold Coast Suns. The Giants winners here by 40 points.
Well, there's a big, big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty Giants. Feel the ground is shaking. The other teams are quaking in their boots before their Giants. Take the longest strides and the highest leap. We're stronger than the rest. We're the greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best. And we will never surrender. We'll fight until the end. We're greater than the rest.
15, 1,303 to 9,963. The Gold Coast led by 7 points at quarter time. It was the Giants by 2 at the half. In that second half, they kicked 9 goals to 3 on the run home. The Giants led by 31 points at three-quarter time and 40 points the full-time margin. It was at one stage 52 points with a couple of late goals to the Gold Coast Suns here. 10,026, the crowd here at Manuka Oval in Canberra for their third and final game of the year for the Greater Western Sydney Giants. And as I say, their 10th win of the year, their 6th straight, and their first win in Canberra in 10 attempts. Your experts, Mark McVeigh and Jason Saddington, to wrap it all up for us.
Well, I reckon it was somewhere in the second quarter, Spike. I think you used the word ominous. The way the game was going with the Giants and some of their ball movement and the ease which they were able to move the footy. Gold Coast did hit back in that second quarter to keep it pretty even at half time, but we did see in the second half it got easier for the Giants to just work the ball up the field either by, chain handball, some run and carry off the back of some Gold Coast turnover, with a Lockie Ash or a Brent Daniels or Toby Bedford just getting involved with their speed. Or sometimes it was a slow play and we saw the backs able to build it up a little bit before they got the ball inside 50. And when they did go inside 50, I think the Giants did miss a Jesse Hogan today. Riccardi and Cabman struggled. But it was players like Toby Green was fantastic. Every time it went into a one-on-one, he finished with 3 goals, 4, 2 out in the full. But, he was winning his one-on-ones. He was dangerous. Daniels was dangerous as a forward up there. Lloyd even had impact. But it was the Giants from probably, like you called it, in that second quarter. I think they did look like they were comfortable and on top in the way the game went. Gold Coast, they defended super well in that first quarter and they forced the Giants down the line, struggled with some of their inside 50 ball movement early, and as the game went on, they probably dropped off defensively and also, maintained their struggles as they went inside 50 without any great targets to sort of come through.
Well, I think in the first quarter, the Gold Coast Suns were able to force the Giants long down the line. They were able to get a spare with Collins behind the ball, so when they kicked it long, they were able to mark the footy. As the game wore on, they got their running game going. They took 15 marks inside 50, the Giants, but not through contest marks. It was speed on the footy and finding a free, like you mentioned. So they got their game going. We spoke at half-time that the Gold Coast Suns, for them to give them any chance, need to keep the ball inside and not let it get to the outside. They weren't able to do that. They looked exposed. I didn't like their ball movement today. That was a challenge for them, and that's hard for Stephen King coming in as the interim coach to try and change something so quickly. It's almost impossible. So that's something that they've got to really look at over the next 5 to 6 weeks. And the challenge for the Gold Coast Suns now is what do they play for? Now you could argue and say, there's a coach sitting out there looking at their list going, what can we do? Where are the needs? Who's the players that are going to fight this out? I look at a player like Ben King. Where's he at mentally and physically? He just didn't look like it today. And, Sam Taylor was spoken about. He's, one of the best defenders in the league right now, or has been for the last 2 years, and had a brilliant game today. But where to for Ben King? He needs to find a way to push through this. I don't think he kicked a goal today, or maybe kicked one, did he? I'm not sure. I can't remember.
No goals.
No goals. So that's 4 weeks, a month. He hasn't kicked a goal for them. So, he's right at the bottom in terms of his mental state in regards to his footy. And on the flip side of that, the Giants, they sit at 6 now, and if you're a team that are fighting to get in the 8 or sitting in the 8 and you cop the Giants, you know it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a difficult game. They haven't been blown away at all this year. They're healthy. They're listing. Daniels is playing good footy, who's a real key to them. Toby's obviously captaining the team really well. Briggs has come from nowhere, where last year he could hardly get a game. He's really worked out his game, and all hats off to him. So if you're a team sitting there going, geez, I'm not sure I want to play them come September.
Their best guys are in form.
Yeah.
All the senior players. You talk about Emilio, Kelly. Of the players unavailable, only Tom Green, probably O'Halloran's another one, I suppose, who's on the fringes, but they're close to their best side as well, and all those senior guys are in form.
Yep.
Hogan wasn't there.
Well, and that's the only one for me. They'd be really keen. I mean, they're keen to get Tom Green obviously back in the team as soon as they can, because he's obviously such an important midfielder. But Jesse Hogan, I think for the Giants to maintain this winning streak, and for the Giants to challenge teams if they do get finals, then I think Jesse Hogan becomes a really important
And I like that they've settled Himmelberg at centre-half back. I think for the first half of the year he was ruck, back, forward, and he wasn't playing particularly well, and I think they've gone, no, let's make the right decision here, and they've settled him there, and he's having a really big impact. I think Harry Himmelberg can be an All-Australian defender. I think he's got those capabilities in him. He's 27 years old, and we spoke about securing his signature. You're right. That's an important one. Whether they can do it or not is another question.
So the Giants have got next up the Bulldogs in Ballarat Saturday afternoon. That'll be a huge game as far as teams contending. You speak on out to the top 4. So Bulldogs are 5th. The Giants they're 6th for now, but the Saints can knock them back again down. They'll stay in the 8 regardless, the Giants, which is, as I say, the first time since round 1 that's happened. They had a win first up under Adam Kingsley. And then beyond that, then for the Giants, the derby is huge in round 21 against the Swans. Port will be tough. Essendon, the wheels have fallen off there. That's a few weeks away, and then Carlton to finish. So they are coming, the Giants. It's going to be interesting end of the year.
Games in there, isn't there?
How high they can go.
There's a heap of important games, and if they are to make it, they've got to win them. They're winnable games. So, and they're against teams that are fighting for that same spot. So, massive back end.
The Suns have next got Brisbane in Q Clash 26 at Carrara in the Saturday twilight. So that's what's next up for them. What did I say? As far as what is happening elsewhere, just quickly around the grounds to the MCG. It's quarter time. Melbourne 2-2-14 leads Adelaide 1-4-10. And later on, St Kilda North Melbourne at Docklands to close round 19. The Giants have spread out to different parts of Monica Oval to sort of thank their fans that have come along for, as I say, a drought-breaking win in the nation's capital. The first since 2019.
1 in 10 they got there, and they did it well. And it's fantastic for the Canberra locals because they do love the Giants. And we saw at halftime they had the little club march, junior club march. Footy down here in Canberra is super strong, and they've embraced the Giants. They've got behind them, and the Giants as a footy club have certainly embraced Canberra. So, the crowd continues to turn up and support the team, even through that run of losses, and they'll be thrilled to see them have a lovely win today, and probably excited to hopefully travel up to Giants Stadium too.
Even the security guards are behind them, wearing their high-vis orange. They've coordinated well.
Who's doing the 3-2-1? I didn't appoint a votes.
Well, we can. I'll go with I'll go with the 3 votes first.
Oh, the easy one.
No, well, it's one of those ones where a lot of good players played really well on the ground. I'm going to start with, I think Canelo gets a vote today. Yep. I thought his game was outstanding. He had 30 disposals. His kicking efficiency was at 64. He kicked a goal, but score involvement. Yeah. That's the one. And he's had 12. I mean, it's massive. It's a massive one for me. It's really important. So when he gets, what that tells you is when he gets the ball, something happens. He's efficient. He goes inside 50, or his ability to chain with his hands is outstanding. So I'll go with Canelo for 1 vote. Sato, who are you thinking for 2 votes? And I think it's always it's a hard one today, but...
well, for me, in terms of impact, 2 votes. Brent Daniels for me.
Great call.
His speed with the footy and his speed without the footy. He was involved in a lot of the Giants' score, certainly through that second and third quarter. It's probably a little bit quieter in the last, but he had massive impact, Brent Daniels, so 2 votes.
4 shots. And I think we all agree, Sam Taylor, 3 votes. I mean, how many marks did he have there? He was dominant in the first half. 10, was it?
Yep.
Just every time the ball went in, like we spoke about, if he didn't mark it, he spoiled it. And he's just a competitor. He just keeps going. The knock on him was... don't, let him have the ball and let him kick it. It doesn't matter anymore. He marks the ball and he either dishes off by hand or makes a really good decision by foot. It far outweighs his ability to kick the foot. He's a superstar.
Well, even that 10 marks, sometimes as a back you can get 10 marks just from the team chipping the ball around.
Yeah.
Are all 10 marks actually intercept or contest marks?
Yeah, well, I mean, the decision going forward with Sam Taylor in this good a form is, I'd be playing someone on him or trying to play a player on him that sits wide of the contest all the time.
Yep. The Giants make their way down to the rooms. Adam Shirley is there. Adam. They're not far away from you.
For the Giants have just come on in, and a lot of satisfied smiles. You can tell this means a bit to them in Canberra, I reckon. Just quite a bit of contentment. 6 in a row, of course, and they might not talk about it, but they know they're well and truly in the finals front now.
Blistering second half sets up a 40-point win for the Giants over the Suns here at Manuka Oval in Canberra. By the way, in the National Rugby League competition, Penrith have beaten Canterbury 44-18. If you're listening through local radio Gold Coast, you'll get the full call of Cronulla Sutherland and Manly Warringah as we resume our league coverage in round 21 for the final game of the NRL round. That's coming up in a few moments' time. We'll try and get some reaction if we can from the Giants' rooms. Adam Shirley will keep talking to us on that front, but the Giants win here 13-103 to 9-9-63. So then, you mentioned the Gold Coast. They sacked Stuart Dew. They win against the Saints last week, and that does tend to happen. It's going to be tough for them. Brisbane, Adelaide after that. They've got the Swans in round 22 at the SCG, Carlton, North Melbourne. There's a mix of winnable games there as well for the Gold Coast Suns, but I would have thought today was probably going to be a winnable game as well. Let's head back into the rooms. Adam Shirley.
Yeah, fellas, I'm here with Harry Perriman, obviously a key player through the half-back and midfield. Harry, I sense a real sense of satisfaction but determination in this squad. 6 runs in a row now, and he really set himself up for a finals run. What is the reaction to that win against Gold Coast today, who were also in the finals mix at the start of today's game?
Yeah, it was definitely a great win from the boys. We knew the Suns were going to come out fire, and they've been in some great form over the last couple of weeks, so we knew we had to be on, and obviously we're in some great form as well, so we just got to keep the momentum going. Obviously it's a very tight competition and it's in our control, so we knew we had to bring the pressure today around the source, and the boys did that for the majority of the game, which was good.
Looked really structurally organised in defence as well, from yourself through Sam Taylor, who seemed to mark everything in his midst, and if he didn't mark it, he spoiled it. But the role players like Buckley and co, I mean, how important is the gelling of the group back there?
Yeah, 100%. They've been massive. Obviously, Sammy Taylor's a superstar of the comp, and he probably gets a bit underrated, to be honest. But inside the 4 walls, we absolutely love what he does for us. And like you said, Jack Buckley, the list goes on. Connor Ryden, Isaac Cumming on the wing, Hainsey on the wing. There's so many great role players in our team, and that's what makes a great team. And we really do reward them blokes inside the four walls. So yeah, it's great to see them getting a bit of recognition.
Noticed also, I mean, your coach obviously spends a lot of time on the boundary line, and Adam Kingsley not only gives directions, I guess, out to those on the field, but every player sub who comes on and off in interchange, he seems to have a quiet word, a bit of extra encouragement as well as instruction. Give us an insight into how involved he is every minute of every quarter when you're playing.
Yeah, like I said, King has been great on the bench. Provides plenty of energy, and he's just got a very calm head on the bench. That's probably his biggest strength, to be honest. Like, when you're out in the ground, it's pretty hectic and chaotic, and you come off from the bench and you don't know what's going on. But he's super relaxed, keeps it calm and keeps it very basic, and it's why we love him, and he's been great for us.
I look at the way he doesn't seem to get too worked up about, well, when something goes wrong, as well as when something goes right. How important is that element of level-headedness?
Got to leave it there. Sorry, Adam. Tom has beaten us, unfortunately, to Harry Preman, the milestone man, there in the Giants' rooms. Listeners through Gold Coast, NRL coverage is coming up next. It was the Giants by 40 points here. Thank you, Sato. Thank you, Spike. Thank you. See you next time. Declan Byrne, great debut. Thank you very much.
Yes, Dex.
To our tech, Mark Baldy Jennings and Adam Shirley in the rooms, and to Tom Cheeseman in the studio. To you, most importantly, for your company as well. More coverage on the ABC Listen app with the AFL button. Otherwise, we bid farewell from Canberra, where the Giants beat the Gold Coast Suns by 40 points.